secret location down country. We've got an hour and a bit Art Connect show, but let's flash back to last year, the art of carnival.
Tonight me I give you the whole nine, yo. Satisfaction of every girl dream. Me love to put it on, make them wriggle and scream. Me get a call from sexy Maxine. She leave a message from the inside machine. She said, "Beat it, that's your chick." People you know, me and Timberland been hot since 20 years ago. What the dealio? Now what the drillio? If you wanna battle me, then let me know. Got the feeling, son. Let me throw you some. People, here I come. Let's swap me when I'm done.
So here we are at Bude Carnival, and I've just come across an absolute legend here. Only Margaret from the caravan up there at Northport. Margaret, what were you doing? You've got your brass or your gold. What are you up to?
I'm the president of the carnival. I'm very proud. We've just come finished carnival. We have had the best carnival ever, and it's been a brilliant day. And now I'm at the Brendan with this lovely, lovely van.
Yeah.
And
I've come all the way from London, and I'm at Notting Hill Carnival next weekend, and we're here at Bude Carnival this weekend. So why don't you come up to Notting Hill Carnival for an ease up with us next week? Do you fancy that, or have you got a tea shop to run?
I think I've got a tea shop to run. I will now.
Go get yourself a sherry, Margaret. Lovely.
Take care. Bye now.
Wow, utter legend there, Margaret. Margaret's tea shop from Northport Beach. Okay, so we're just about ready to go. We're 2 minutes past 3. Going to roll one more film because we're getting in the mood today for a little bit of an ease up tonight at Beach House Hotel. Virtual dance party, virtual sundowner. We're still looking for a DJ. We've got a few ideas. We've got some gear. We'll work it out. Got a brilliant act anyway. Let's just roll this one. Let's keep with the vibes. Let's keep it with Chic, Nile Rodgers.
But here's the thing.
The Late Night Tough Guy remix.
The guy who invented the ship also invented the shipwreck. And either you're in or you're out. Either you want to play this game or you don't. Art doesn't work because we did something conventional and predictable, and here it is industrialized, right? Art works because we connect.
So the festival that we will be organising in 2022 is a festival of creativity in its broadest sense. So what we're looking for is events that will help to bring people together and show the value of art.
An event like this is absolutely overdue. Being from a working class family as well, we've never had access to the arts.
I think this is amazing, and we should encourage Nick to do more of this so that we can connect friends through art. Is actually amazing.
Well, a lot of schools have taken music out of their curriculum, and I find that really important.
This book is going to change lives. There are 7 stories.
Keep doing what you're doing. I love your passion. Please keep doing what you're doing, inspiring the kids. I think it's great. Not enough parents spend enough time with the kids. They leave them on the iPads and things like that, and I absolutely love it. Keep doing what you're doing. I love your passion.
Boys will be boys. Better let them have their toys. Girls will be girls. Cute ponytails and curls. Must put an end to this stress and strife. I think I want to live that sporty life.
I'm going to make it happen for you, Nick.
I appreciate that.
Well, I'm going to make it happen for you because what you're doing is, in the end, absolutely brilliant.
I had the idea of getting a big screen to come here and celebrate, and I did a thing called a crowdfunder. I said to lots of people, I only gave myself 24 hours, and they said, you'll never do it.
One time for the Lord.
I think creativity is absolutely everything, you know, to secure the jobs for the future.
Niall, what does collaboration mean to you?
For me, collaboration is everything. So my whole life is a collaboration.
I must admit, I've forgotten I was still up on the screen, so you see me rush over to grab something off the printer. You have not heard an awful lot. There's the Perrin flag, the flag of Kernow, the flag of Cornwall. This is the bit of paper that literally we just printed off. We know what's going on. Shall we have a look and see what is going on? Shall we see? Goodness me. I've had one cup of tea and a coffee all day. My son's had some scrambled eggs, so I had a bit of that. I need to shut that window because I don't want my neighbours listening to us. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to play this. Did you see the Bookfest film? That's a bit too long. We don't want that one. Let's find something that's a little bit shorter. I need 2 minutes, right, to go to that window, shut the window, because I don't want my neighbours listening to all this. So let's find a 2-minuter. They're all actually 2 minutes. What's that? That's a bit random. Good Lord. Don't any of that nonsense on here, and this radical Google algorithm generated stuff. It says we're live on YouTube. That's good to know. Let's have a look. Let's see what. I'll just find something really short and sweet, and then I can go and shut that window, and we can crack on with this. It's so hard finding your own stuff on your own YouTube channel, isn't it? Listen to hide stuff. Here's a brilliant one. Let's do some UK connections. Let's connect the country with a lovely film. This is 1 minute 29. This is a film by one of Britain's best educators. He's a head teacher at a school in Whitby East Primary Academy. His name is Simon Smith, and he agreed yesterday to do a talk at our Hay Kids Book Fest. Simon Smith is an utter legend. Not only as a leader of his school community, you know, he's literally flying the flag. He's there supporting the community. They've got cared for children, they've got vulnerable children, but he is the man to bring a book to life. So I'm going to unplug my headphones, unplug my microphone, run over there and shut that window while you listen to Simon Smith.
Right, so I'm about to do a presentation at Total Teaching. I'm just going to talk about a book that one of the books that I'm going to use, which is called Don't Cross the Line. It's Portuguese. Right, so I'm about to do a presentation at Total Teaching. I'm just going to talk about a book that one of the books that I'm going to use, which is called Don't Cross the Line. It's Portuguese, and it does some brilliant things, but also I think has some brilliant messages about how we need to look in our schools and the things we need to think about. So for me, it does some brilliant things with how the pages work, and the essential premise of the story is that we're not allowed to cross the line. There are rules in place that we're not allowed to break, and nobody knows why they're rules, but they're rules, and therefore people live with those rules. But maybe we shouldn't be. Maybe we shouldn't be living with those rules. Maybe we need to be a bit braver. So it uses this page as a barrier until there's a moment, and a moment when actually we then need to people need to think about what actions they're going to take, where they're going to do. And for me, that's where we're at in schools. We have a need in schools at the moment. We're at this line. And we have a need at the moment to think about where we're going and what we need to do and how we're going to be brave to cross that line and do the things that we need to do. And we need to be the children running after the ball. We need to be the children doing it because it's fun and exciting and engaging, and it gets children to love the learning that goes on in our schools.
Don't you just wish that he was teaching your children? What an amazing man. Well, he can be, because he is going to be live at our Hay Kids Book Festival, which is the 24th. Is it 24th? 24th of May? Sunday? Yeah. Okay, so I don't know when our Bradford thing is. I'll have to look at I don't know what day of the week it is, then from coming or going. So stand by, Malumba. I'm going to give you a buzz now. We are here in Cornwall. Delighted to be here in Cornwall, but I must stress We are not really in Cornwall. We are pretending. Okay, so please do not come to Cornwall today. When the government tell you and when the local community tell you it's safe, then you can come to Cornwall, and you can pay twice for your beers, you can pay twice for your ice creams, you can pay twice for your bed and breakfast, you can pay twice for your pasties, because this economy needs your support financially, emotionally, morally, but only when the time is right. So do not come to Cornwall until you get the nod from the community. So here we are, pretending we're in Cornwall, and here we are in a very lovely spot on North Cornwall coastline, on Northcote Beach there, and we are today talking about, we had a few lambs, had a bit of lamb action earlier. Dan Wilkins, I'm hoping we can get him back, but he says he hasn't got any data down at the shop, which is not good. But here we were last summer at Northcote Beach, combine harvester up on the hill there, and a bit of a windy old day that was. And we had a little pop-up art gallery, because the lovely lady who ran that tea shop then, that tea garden, was very generous and let us put our signs up. There's Malumba, there's lovely Beth, because art is what we call it when what we do might connect us. And that lovely lady there who let us use her tea house, the lovely Margaret Frost, was a local legend, and she is the inspiration for what we're doing today. People like her across the country are our inspiration. Superheroes like Margaret Frost, who welcomed everybody with open arms, was generous, was caring, was considerate. There were always children reading and drawing and doing arts activities in her caravan. There was always somebody making, doing, cooking, looking after somebody, running around. Sadly passed away last summer. So today, everything we do today is dedicated to the memory not only of Margaret, but people like that all over the country who are holding our communities together one way or another. There are people we're talking to in Bude today who can't help us because they're busy filling food parcels and food packages and supporting the frontline community, because Cornwall is not all surfing, it's not all supermarkets, it's community, it's small businesses, it's independent makers, craftspeople and merchants who are fighting for survival. And we're going to speak to some this afternoon. Margaret Frost there, the utter legend and never forgotten, and I know she's up there chuckling and laughing away with us today. So making a difference in Bude, that's what we're trying to do, and I'm going to see if I can get a few people on the line now. Let me see if I can get Malumba. He can tell us what's going on. He's probably having a bit of a flat now. Oh my goodness, he's going to call me. So let's get all Malumba up here and see what he's up to. Malumba is an artist, a local artist here where we're based, and he got a full-time job yesterday because we got an Arts Council grant, and he now works for us, with us. He's our production manager as well as doing his own art, and that's what this is all about. So, hello Malumba, how you doing? Make a noise.
I'm alright, how are you?
Yeah, we're good. So we haven't...
Am I making noise?
Yeah, I can hear you, it's all good. I can see you, I can hear you. I've got to press a button to get you up on the screen. There we go, you're up on the screen now.
Margaret sounds like a very lovely lady, somebody I would like to have met.
Oh my God, man, you'd have had a party. We'd have got no work out of you with Margaret around. She was just wonderful. You've seen the video.
Big open arms. I adore people like that.
She's
bless
just
her.
Lovely, and her scones were good as well. Bless her. So, funny enough, her daughter. I was in the caravan last summer chatting with her daughter. Her daughter's a head teacher of two primary schools in Croydon. Actually, we're due to catch up with and do some stuff with them. So, what have you been up to? Your second day at work. How was your first day at work? Just out of interest.
Second day of work. The art of learning new skills. that should be a show on its own. So I've realized how much I need to catch up with social media and know where all the buttons and tricks are. So this is great. I'm quite enjoying it. It's a bit frustrating, but it's very enjoyable. And when I look at it as a new art, as a new acquired skill, I enjoy it even more. So yes, it's going well, and I'm quite looking forward to these characters that we have coming on today.
Oh, we've got some legends coming on.
It's quite a good mix.
I'm sure.
Chef, a chef, an artist, a farmer, a surfer, and from what I can understand, 2 beach house hotel hosts or
proprietors,
managers or proprietors.
Basically, Jenny and Beth. Jenny's Beth's mum. They are utter legends of the community at a grassroots basis. They've worked at Eden Project. They're on grassroots stuff now, and I'm just going to sit back, put my feet up, and give them the airwaves, because they're just going to go for it. They're going to rip the hell out of this. I know they are.
We've got plenty of time, and they're on towards the end, so that is perfect. If they can get everybody excited, especially since afterwards in the evening we're going to have a real beach party. Actually, from what I understand.
Well, that's the plan. That is the plan. We need a DJ, but we've got decks and we've got access to every record ever made, whether they shut us down. So let's just have a look.
There's always a plan B, especially with you, Nick. There's always a plan B, so I'm not worried at all.
So just out of interest, I mean, this is day one of the Let's Create at Home campaign, or Get Creative at Home campaign, which is a voluntary arts thing and a BBC supported thing. Get Creative at Home. So this is our first day. And I think you're going to be popping up like this, because this is a good way of me filling the program and sort of leaning against the wall and relaxing while you talk about something, as you just have. To give everybody. Do you know what I'm going to do? Do you know what I haven't done all day?
What have you not done?
I haven't actually been to the toilet, believe it or not. And I'm going to nip for number one.
You can't do that now.
I am doing that now. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm pressing that button and that button. Malumbo, the show is yours. Can you just tell everybody the story of how we met? You know, the chip shop, the art thing, and I'll look at it on playback later. I'm literally going to the loo now. The show is yours. You are in control of the ship.
Why can I not see myself on the Skype?
You can't see yourself. Are you not look? Well, you can't see yourself on Skype because I turn the camera off. You can only see yourself on YouTube if you're watching YouTube. You know that. Come on.
Yes, I do know that.
Okay, we're not using Zoom or any of this nonsense. It's not secure enough for us. We need maximum security here. So I'm going to the loo. You've got about 4 minutes. Yeah. See you later. I've gone. Gone.
Hello, my name is Mulumba Chikuka. I'm actually Congolese. I lived in Canada many years, US, Indonesia, all over really. I don't mean to show off, but I have lived in quite a number of countries. So shortly after having moved here, Maidavale, Paddington area, I was walking down the road with my Cassart bag, because I am an artist and I do quite enjoy going over to Cassart, getting my art supplies, etc., etc. So I was casually walking back home, and this tall gentleman just sort of comes leaning into me and say, "Are you an artist?" I'm like, "Well, yes. What is that to you?" And then the conversation never ended. Turns out this was Nick Corsten, lives around the corner from me. Immediately recruited me, as he has done quite a lot of you, into his circle of activities, and it's we haven't looked back since. We've worked various different degrees. We've done quite a number of festivals together, where every once in a while I'll pop in or pop out as a character who hopefully you're going to meet later, Dr. Spin. We've traveled around parts of the country in schools making rockets. He's taught me how to make rockets. He's taught me how to print T-shirts. All these things that I myself would, never have thought of doing. I'm suddenly doing and learning. So it's been quite a lovely experience, and I wish more neighbors could be as open and embracing and quite eager to create a community and take on board everybody that lives on their road and behind their road and just do things together, because it's incredible what lies around us, and we don't pay attention. And perhaps that is one also of the pluses of this COVID lockdown, is it makes you realize, makes you wonder, what's happening across the street? And you look out your window and you see that you're surrounded by so many interesting people and so many interesting things, or at least I am. This is a very lovely neighborhood. I hope you are too. That's a very, very long wee Nick is having.
Nick's been back a while, don't worry, I was just letting you wrap it on.
So that is the story of how Nick and I met, thanks to Cassart. And I hope the Cassart people are listening to this and realizing how they connect the town. They always say they want to make turn the town into artists. Well, they're doing quite a good job, little by little. Voila.
Absolutely. Well, there you go. It's fill this town with artists is the Cassart strapline, isn't it? So I'm struggling here because Dave Sargent's just told me he's live on Facebook at the moment.
Right.
And Somebody says they're having a problem getting on. Who's this? Jenny and Beth. Oh, Jenny and Beth are having problems. Oh, okay.
How did you meet this Dave Sargent? He seemed quite a
well, he's a local
very
chef.
interesting fellow. I saw him on mute this morning in his outfit making burgers.
Let's see if we can get him on now. Let's just try. I mean, when you, I've spent a bit of time in Cornwall. When you do that, you kind of sort of just get to meet people, and he's a real local celebrity, and yeah,
that's one of the exciting things about today. We've been talking about Cornwall for quite a number of years actually with you, and I've never been down there, and I really, really am stoked to be there today virtually.
Well, hopefully it'll be the first place I can get down to. I have to see if we can get down there after this curfew lift, as long as it's all safe for everybody, and we're all told it's a safe thing to do. Then
of course.
Then that's what we do. Yeah, all good. Is it?
In the meantime, I hope everybody in Cornwall is safe indeed.
Absolutely, yeah, that's the number one thing. There he is, Dave is there. Look, let's get. Hang on, he's here. Dave Sargent's in the mix, so let's get him back on. So, flip your screen round. You're a rank amateur, you are, Dave Sargent. You're a rank amateur.
I'm definitely an amateur.
I thought you said you were cooking live now. What's going on? Oh, that's 4 o'clock, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I said, to 4:10 we're supposed to be doing it, but that's cool. I'm just doing some work now.
So are we going to be able to actually watch you doing something live later on, or you're not going to have enough phones for that?
No, so we're all arranged for 4:10. Yes, 4:10 is still absolutely fine.
Oh, right. What,
still in place.
So I made the mistake of putting you in at 3:10. That's because I edited that wrong. So get back.
These rank amateurs.
Dave Sargent, just carry on. Whatever you're doing, can you just carry on? Stop interrupting me, please. I was on a roll there as well. Right. God, I can't get the stuff. So I'll see you about 4:10. I want to get right in the middle of that phyllo pastry. I want to get just at the right moment.
You get, you'll probably get in the way, no doubt.
Yeah, get my finger in there for some licking cream. All right, I'll see you
all right, mate. See you in an hour.
Oh, there we go. So that's Dave Sargent ready. We know that works. So that's him. So I think what we'll do is we'll go.
I'm actually quite pleased by that interaction, because I had him down at 4:05, thinking, give him 5 minutes or less.
Well, I'll be honest with you. What happened is I actually redid everything you'd done, because I had a bit of a flap, and I thought maybe it wasn't quite right. So I'm going to go to Frankie now. What did you think of what Frankie did this morning?
Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I especially love the 3D making of sheep, because I would never have thought of that. Getting the toilet roll out, cotton. It's absolutely stunning.
It was lovely, wasn't it? So what we're going to do is, Frank is hopefully going to come in now. I think we're calling her. I think she knows she's coming back on. So she's really been busy today. So she did an hour this morning with the art stuff inspired by the sheep, and then she came back and we discussed it. Did you see the little video we made as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so that's
with
really
her assistant and everything. It was a really lovely moment, and I'm thankful to her for reminding me to think a bit outside the box. I tend to paint on flat surfaces, etc., etc. And she kept mentioning how certain people like to do things in 3D. So that got me thinking about how I can shift my practice a bit to bring in more artistic variety, if you will.
Yeah, that's all good. Let's see if Frank is around. Just run out of things to say now. It's quite hard keeping it going, isn't it? So
no, she has to be around. It's a glorious, beautiful day outside. How can anybody be anywhere else but?
Well, that's the funny thing, isn't it? If you were in Cornwall, would you really want to be sitting here looking at a screen now? But hopefully a few people will come back on and look later. So you're keeping an eye. So if anybody's looking on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, if you want to type a message in, Malumba's keeping an eye on all that stuff. We're working it all out as we go along all these different channels. We'll probably bring it all together and do it in a video conferencing platform one day, but this is good for us at the moment. So we've got this afternoon, let's just have a look at what we have got. So we've got Dave Sargent at 4:10, which I need to update there, so that's all good.
I can do that.
Dave Sargent at yeah, it's all printed now. Once it's printed on here, this is it now, you see. So Dave Sargent at 4:10. We're going to have Franca in a moment when we get through to her. That's good. She'll talk about what she's been up to. I'm going to see if I can get hold of Dan. Then about 3:30. So not actually we can get Roger Tate on pretty soon. Actually, you can always come back to Franca. And then we're going to have a chat with Jenny and Beth at their Beach House Hotel. If anybody out there wants to come in, wants to come on the show, then just drop us a line on one of those channels. Pop a message under the YouTube channel, and we'll give you the secret.
Absolutely.
The secret login. Skype address. I've forgotten the password for one of them, so that's not the smartest move. Let's try Franca again. And then if she's not around, I think we'll go to
calling Franca, Mr. Dan Wilkins, the farmer.
Well, Dan's got problems.
Very excited to meet.
He's got data problems. Oh, here's Franca now. Hiya, Franca. Thanks for coming back.
No problem.
So we're just doing this little sort of summary, really. This is like the adult version of what you were doing this morning. And you're on screen at the moment with Malumba, who's our production manager. He's an artist, got a passion for arts, creativity and community, and was watching eagerly this morning what you were up to.
Yeah.
It was quite, yes.
Can you hear each other?
I think so.
Hello, Franca.
Hi.
Hello,
Hi.
Franca.
There you go. So
I was quite pleased with what you were doing and the way you were talking about it and instructing. And what I was telling Nick earlier is I'm a painter and I use acrylics on flat canvas. And
Yeah.
watching you and watching your fingers play, it really reminded me that I can go further than just painting flat and really try to get into the 3D stuff. So thank you for that.
Oh no, that's cool. That's cool. I think the actual. I've always loved doing things with my hands. Like even when I was a teenager and I had a Saturday job, I loved using the till and wrapping up bags of chips and things. And how what your physical experiences of what you're doing changes so much with different media and different scale and different approaches. And I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that physical and manual. It's called haptic experience, like the physical experiential side of it as an artist. So yeah, I mean 3D is an amazing thing, and mixing 2D and 3D and digital and all sorts of stuff, but just getting into kind of what you're physically doing.
Exactly.
And how that is for you physically is a lovely thing.
Walking and sort of walking out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. I think always go out of your comfort zone, because that's where kind of weird and wonderful things can happen. If you stay in your comfort zone, you're always safe and you are kind of in control. And I think creativity is most rewarding and surprising and delightful when
absolutely. That's how we discover great pieces of work, because if you stay in your comfort zone, you keep doing the exact same type of work actually.
Yeah, and if you do things the way people sort of tell you to, which is why, like, when I was doing that thing this morning, I was kind of saying, you could do this, you could do something else, you could take some of the practical processes I've shown you and come up with something completely different, or you could go away and kind of go, no, this is how I interpret sheep, and it's kind of completely randomly different to what you're doing. Like,
absolutely.
What are you bringing to the party? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I'm going to bring pillowcases. We can make sheep out of pillowcases.
Fantastic.
So that'd be almost life-size. Lovely. Well, I definitely look forward to meeting you in Cornwall one day, or in where are you exactly?
I live in Bude.
Oh, in Bude. Oh, you're actually in Bude.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Why are you so surprised, Malumba? Are you surprised that people actually live there, or?
Well, I'm always. I thought everybody lived on Macroom Road in Maidavale. That's the world.
Oh, I see. Here in deepest, darkest Paddington, just so everybody knows, we're kind of based at the other end of the Great Western Railway from Penzance, if you like, which is obviously the railway line all the way through Cornwall. Deepest, darkest. Who's that? Who's got the audio on there? So
I've
Frank,
just turned it off again. Sorry.
So Franca, tell Malumba. We did the kind of kids thing this morning, but this show's going to have a sort of more adult audience, and I'd like to think that maybe some of the Arts Council people might be looking in. So this is your chance to talk about your art and your practice, and the role of art and creativity in the community there in Bude. Could you do that for us?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll give you a tiny synopsis. I trained in fashion, and I got really into doing that by really being interested in people. I made my own clothes as a teenager, and so I sort of explored things that way, and then I sort of diverted into teaching, and that opened me up to a really massive realm of what other things can I do. The last sort of 3 or 4 years I've focused on textile design, and actually in the last year or so I've been getting really into ceramics as well. I teach a bit of ceramics, and I also am learning constantly in that area. Again, it's that same thing. What can I do? How can I explore things? How does that present new opportunities and ways that I can kind of express and communicate and just enjoy practically doing things as well. But yeah, that's a little synopsis about what I'm up to. Do you want me to show you some things?
No, go for it. Yeah, do so. Please do.
Yes, please.
Okay, so with my textile design, I will start off by doing kind of really simple stuff like playing. Quite often I'll sit down with pictures or and materials. I might think, okay, I'm going to get the black ink out today and a paintbrush, and this is a really quick study based on some weeds actually that were growing near the canal in Bude. Can you still hear me?
Absolutely. Yeah. We can see.
And then I do things like I'll scan and drop this into Photoshop, and then I can play around with all sorts of things and even kind of recolor and stuff like that. And that actual study that I've just shown you there kind of then goes somewhere down the road and turns into a piece of fabric.
Wow, lovely.
Which is, this has been digitally printed. One of the joys of digital printing onto fabric is that there's virtually no kind of chemical taint waste that goes into the environment. Especially there's no chemical water waste from it, because it's kind of inkjet printed onto the fabric. So you only apply the amount of pigment that's needed. So that's a really great digital development with textile printing. As we know, textiles and fashion are one of the biggest polluting industries on the planet. So looking at how textiles are
Hang on, say that again. Rewind on that. Let's have a bit more detail. So fashion is the most polluting industry on the planet.
It's one of the top polluters globally. Yeah, if you look at everything from how fibres are grown and processed, and then how fabrics are treated, and then how clothing and fabrics are shipped around the world. The making of clothes means things get shipped multiple times, sometimes backwards and forwards between the Far East and the West. And then the way that the fashion industry and the clothing industry has, for many years pushed at fast fashion. Some fashion houses produce 6 collections a year, if not more. So they're encouraging people to buy and throw away things. We know that people have been buying clothes, in huge numbers, and that loads of that is wasted as well. So, if you look at the whole life cycle and process from almost start to finish with fashion, it's and textiles, it's pretty scary.
It almost got to a place that there was talk of people literally buying an outfit and wearing it once because they couldn't be bothered and it was too expensive to bother cleaning it, dry cleaning or washing. They would literally throw outfits away and get another one, so a new outfit every week.
Yeah, and there's also a sort of phenomenon where people buy online and they might order kind of 2 or 3 sizes, because sizing varies so dramatically between shops, and then they send stuff, they'll try things on at home, and then the stuff they don't want or doesn't fit, they'll just send it back, and that stuff can't be resold as new. My dog's just arrived in the room, by the way, so
it's all right. It's a family show. It's a family show, don't worry.
Yeah.
So you were saying before I butted in, you talk about fashion and textiles being one of the most polluting industries in the world. Was that going somewhere? Or?
So I think doing things digitally is a way that you can, a lot of fashion labels now are looking at ways that they can kind of downscale rather than upscale things. So actually being able to produce on a small model, in small quantities, and in a short time frame and locally can be done with newer technologies and digital technologies, which kind of cuts out the need for the huge levels of waste that there can be with mass production, and with mass production that's kind of globally based. It can bring things home a lot, basically, and give people more scope for creativity on a smaller scale that can still be economically viable.
It's quite interesting what you're talking about, because there are two sides of it, I think. Am I there?
Yeah.
Because you can scale down how you're producing textiles and fashion, etc., etc. But on the other hand, you also have to convince people to buy less and to have, perhaps, for lack of a better way of putting it, less variety in their wardrobe. You know, my sisters, I've got two sisters, and when I walk into their wardrobes, half of the stuff they never wear, they've only worn once. So it's changing the psychology of people and saying, well, you don't really need that much. You need a few nice things and that's enough. And perhaps that's going to be one of the, outcomes of this lockdown, this pause in life.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at what you've got. And, the other thing is you can do things like if you're getting rid of clothing, say you're going to look through your wardrobe and think, okay, I've got way too much and I've never worn those things. It can go to textile banks and it can go to charities and get passed around like that. So you're keeping on that kind of recycle economy side of it. So people don't always have to buy new like that. You can always, I buy things from charity shops, sometimes just because I want to use the fabric. So I might cut up old clothing and use it to make new things, anything from kind of new items of clothing through to cushion covers or bags and gifts for people.
Right.
I've just been making wax wraps for food, where I'm ironing wax and stuff like that into fabrics from dresses that I've bought in charity shops and stuff like that. So there's loads of ways that you can repurpose and remodel clothing, make stuff and mend stuff and get creative with fabrics that you've got or that you can have access to that aren't through that kind of buy new chain of consuming,
Right. Wait, go back. You just said something interesting. You can make wax paper into fabric.
No, you can make fabric into waxed fabric that you can then use to wrap up food items so that you can stop using plastic wrappings.
Yeah, that makes quite a lot of sense. Okay, so you go into your art with quite a conscious approach.
Yes, and in fact, with my textile business, it's something that has concerned me since I first started wanting to do what I do, because I don't just want to make more stuff that I've got to try and convince people that they need or want. And that's quite a hard way to approach something when you actually want to have a business and make some money out of what you're doing creatively.
Correct.
Which is why I would rather almost design bespoke for people. If you want some of my fabrics in your house, for instance, you want, say, new curtains or cushions, that's quite a big thing to do, an investment that you might make in your home space. I'd rather that was exactly how you wanted it to be. So let me design it for you so that the color scheme's right, the scale of it's right for your setting, and it's and the amount that you need is the amount that is produced. So I'm not holding excess stock that I've then got to try and push onto somebody else to have, Those are the kind of things that concern me. And even making products generally, and printing new still is something that it keeps me awake at night sometimes. I'd rather look at ways that we can use resources that are available, which is why I do like upcycling old clothes and other fabrics as well, because it's a resource that's there. It shouldn't be going to landfill. It's stuff that we've got. In the past, people used to, like you say, have very few clothes. You'd have your working clothes, and then you'd have one or two special garments or outfits that somebody might have made for you, and those would last you a long time, and they'd get repaired or remade into children's clothes when they started wearing out,
Right.
So yeah, I could talk about this all day.
I know, it's brilliant.
Well, it's extremely interesting. I love it. I mean, it's like the psychology behind not just art, but behavior and all that. So it is very, very interesting.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's all interconnected. I don't think you can separate. You can't separate these things. How we live on this planet, how we use resources, how we express and interconnect as people, and how we do that creatively and with a mindful approach to sustainability. Those are things that humans were doing that for a long time before the industrial evolution and revolution and all that sort of stuff. We need to get back to thinking about how everything fits together and how those things are supportive things rather than just about filtering profit to a few, at the top of a chain kind of thing. This is about all of us, and this situation we're in at the moment is about all of us, and it's actually showing us the value of everybody within our society, especially those levels of society that have been undervalued. And you can take that same viewpoint into resources as much as you can to look at humans and human resource.
It's interesting actually, Franca, because I totally agree with everything you're saying, that this is a chance to reevaluate the way we do things, the way we value things. And to be honest, that's the sort of thing you, myself, or Malumba might have said a few years ago. Do you think the mass population are likely to be thinking that and seeing that as well? Do you think they're appreciating the value of humanity, the value of creativity, the value of society, sustainability? Do you think they're actually putting two and two together, or do you think mainstream media will come back and sort of put them back where they were when it suits the system?
I think a lot of people are and must be, simply because of the fact that you start to really value the people who are doing things like emptying your bins and serving you in shops and looking after your elderly relatives and who are keeping all of those services running, who are working our transport system. These are people who are often paid minimally, and it's a kind of underbelly of the economy, and yet those are the people who are the fabric of society. And actually all of those things are services. They're about how people are looked after and sustained collectively. So people are valuing what the NHS and what these key workers are doing, and I hope that sense of understanding that value of those contributions isn't going to be something that we put aside when things loosen up somehow. I don't know if we can go back to normal. What is normal? I do think there has to be a shift.
There's a lovely cartoon by...
I think there will be a shift, but I think it's also going to be contingent upon people like you, Franca, to remind people of perhaps this time, and perhaps you're going to do that through your art, through your textiles, I'm not quite sure, because people have really short attention spans, and what I'm afraid of is we're all nice, we're all mindful of things, and then suddenly when things go back to normal, as whatever normal is, we forget, and then we go back right to where we were, over consumption, not caring for neighbors, etc., simply because we forget. And I think it's going to be contingent upon artists such as you to remind people, to say, hey, remember what happened a month ago, 2 months ago, a year ago? Remember what situation we were in? Remember how we behaved differently? We should keep that going.
And also the role of media, mainstream media, or maybe this is a chance for citizen journalism, the sort of thing we're doing here now. Franca, thank you so much. It's been brilliant to talk to you.
You're welcome.
We're still trying to get tonight together. We're down the Beach House for a bit of a virtual jam. Hopefully a bit of a sunset DJ set. If you know anybody, to be honest with you, what we're going to do is do a DJ set. And if anybody wants to Skype in, as you are now, and just say a few things, talk about lock-in, talk about creativity, talk about community, talk about their art, whatever. We're going to be open. We'll open the lines to anybody who wants to come on the air from the Bude area, North Cornwall, across Cornwall. So put a shout out to your friends. We'll big it up on Facebook. We've got Richard Ash doing a live set 10 till 11. I've got an amazing DJ lined up. I'm trying to get him because the other guy couldn't do it in the end. So if anybody wants to DJ, they can. This is a community effort. We want to bring everybody together with art, creativity. Thank you so much, Franca. Hopefully we'll see you later on this evening.
Thanks, yeah.
But bless you and thank you so much.
Take care.
This is what
Nice
it's all about.
speaking to you.
Wonderful. All right, Malumba. Well, I'm going to stay there for a minute because I've got an utter legend coming on. Thank you. Let's go to Roger Tout here.
All I can say is I want to leave so I can start typing things and putting all this together. But that's okay. Let's go on.
Well, I'm going to introduce you to a local legend. You said you wanted to meet some locals, so let's introduce you to somebody.
I wish I could fix that light. I'm going to be mindful of it next time. I'm going to set up the whole entire thing. I might even set up a blue screen next time.
Very dark there. Okay, let's have a quick look here. See what we're doing. I've got a mouse and it keeps falling. Okay, that's looking promising. So let me have a look here. So I want to pull an image up first. Where's my image? There we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, hang on a second. So hold on. So I'm going to flip. So that image there. I don't know if you can see that image there, Malumba. That's actually my surfboard. Believe it or not, I'm a bit of a tourist, and I got a surfboard off a local chap down there, John, who's one of my mates down there. Bless him. Good chap. If you're watching, John, this one's for you. Thank you for the surfboard. And that surfboard there is outside. You've gone, have you, Malumba?
I'm right here.
Oh, you've gone black. Your screen's gone black. What's that all about? Was that?
I don't know.
Hang on a second. Hang on. I've got somebody over there. Is it because? No, you've gone to a spreadsheet, mate. Everything that's on your screen is coming up on Skype. So I'm going to bump that.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's not a good look. Okay. So that surfboard there. That surfboard on the ground there. That's my Cornwall flag surfboard, the Piran flag, the Kernow flag outside Margaret's Caravan when we did a lot of pop-up. And I always remember one of the lifeguards came up to me. This lifeguard said to me, "Oh, you're enjoying Roger's board?" I said, "That's not Roger's, that's John's old board." And he said, "No, Roger Tout, who made it?" I said, "Oh, I knew that. I forgot that was Roger designed it." And I am absolutely over the moon because live and direct from the county of Kernow, we have got the man who shaped that board. Roger Tout is in the house. Can you hear us, Roger?
Hey!
Shout out to Cornwall and the board shaper posse. How are you, Roger?
Hey!
You can keep that vibe going. Go on, you do what you like, mate. This is your channel. How are you, Roger? Can you hear us?
Very well, thanks. That was a message from our sponsors.
do that. Can you do that again? That was fantastic.
That's my cookie tin. When I go home and I nick a couple, when I nick a couple of business, because my stomach's getting better.
Your audio's breaking up a little bit there, Roger. But that's your cookie tin, you say, yeah? Your audio's breaking up a bit. What are you in? You're in your workshop there, are you? Your factory?
I am, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Jolly Roger and the global enterprise that you run from that premise there.
Yeah, well, it all started like about 1970 when I worked with a few other guys in a company in Bude. A couple of them have died. I'm surprised that I'm still here, especially drinking this stuff, which I wouldn't advise at home because it's catalyst, which makes the resin go hard. But yeah, 1970 I started off, carried on through till coronavirus tried to stop us still work, but I'm 70 tomorrow, so I ought to stop before anyway.
You're looking good on it, mate.
Yeah, so
looking good.
Sorry?
You're looking good on it.
Oh, you want to see my insides?
No, I don't think so.
No.
So tell us about your business there. Then you design boards, you sell them. You got a little shop. What are you in there? Is that your back bedroom? What's going on?
I used to have a shop, but I was burning the candle at both ends really because we're making a bit of profit, but not enough to be working. You know, the sort of chilled out sort of surfer's lifestyle. It was work. So I got rid of the shop and I'm just doing custom boards now, which are pretty, it's keeping me in work full time.
Is it? Wow.
And I can have a bit of time off as well. but I am supposed to be retired, so I shouldn't be. But I do quite like to be lazy. But I think because I was lazy in my younger life, I didn't have enough money. So now at nearly 70, I've still got to carry on working as if I was in my 20s.
I can't imagine it's the worst job in the world, though, making surfboards, is it?
Yeah, well, people say, how could people from the city usually say sort of stuff, oh, you make surfboards? And I go, yeah. He goes, oh, I couldn't sit on the beach all day. I suppose if there's girls in bikinis and that, I could sit and watch them. I said, no, I make the surfboards, which means getting covered in dust, wearing a mask, wearing a mask most of the day so you don't get all the dust down your throat and all the fumes from the resin. But it's quite good when you've made a board for the guys and they come back and say that surfed really well, whether he's a top surfer or he's just a learner or just some fat bloke or an old bloke or a young lady. So did you want to have a look around the factory a little bit?
Yeah, tell us what you've got going on then. I have no idea how you make a surfboard, so take us through the process.
Yeah. Well, here we've got a board that's been shaped, okay? I'm just cutting out tissue paper that's been printed up, and that goes underneath the fiberglass that comes here. It comes in this roll, and you cover the surfboard with the fiberglass. Yeah. Okay. So the fiberglass will come out over the board, and then you have to go round it with the scissors, just with a little overlap all the way around the board. Can you see the decals?
Oh yeah, shining through. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they'll shine through, but they're basically like that. Just before we came onto the air, I was just cutting one, so that'll go there. The customer wants a fluorescent green one, but that now will get covered. It's difficult to show you because I can't do all the jobs at once, but when the board's been shaped, like I say, the fiberglass goes over it, which is the strength, then the resin goes on to waterproof it, and also gives it a bit of strength. That'll get sanded down when it's all dry. Then you do the other side. The fins get put in. I'll show you through to the shaping room where it all starts, if you want to follow me. This is the sanding and spraying room. This here is the heart of the job. This is where it all begins. The customer will order whatever size we try and get it between us, what's best for them. And this particular one wants a longboard, which is more of a cruisy type surfing as opposed to a shortboard, which is more high performance. But I've got all different templates and stuff. This one, for example, is a longboard template. Hopefully you can see. If you can see there the outline. So I put the measurements on it. I put the measurements from the stringer to the side. If it was 22 inches wide, it'd be 11 at the stringer, 22 here. You mark it out, then mark the tail out. Okay, that'll go there. Then with the saw, that gets cut out once you've got your plan shape right. So that's cut out. I've got a power planer here. Again, it's one of the dollies of making surfboards, so you can get lots of dust up your nose. I normally wear a mask, but yeah, so it's cut out. The rails around it. We put more rocker in. People that want to surf steeper waves or more high performance sort of surfing. Flatter rocker, which will make the board go faster, but you can also nosedive a bit, so it's getting a nice in between thing. When this is shaped, the board will look. This is a different size one, but it looks basically like that. The reason you've got this light is because you can see all the mistakes, and
Oh, I see.
I make quite a lot of those. So it's good to have the lights, so you can see how it all. You see all the mistakes that are going to come up. So when the customer gets the board, he should have something that's really good. Like I say, when the board's finished here, I take it in the other room, over here in the glassing room. As you can see, the floor's half full of resin. That'll get changed in a couple of days' time. I'll put another bit of carpet, and all the stuff, all the excess resin falls on the floor. I try not to waste too much because it all costs money. The resin will go in one of these pots, then it gets measured up, add the hardener, mix it all up, pour it over the board. Then when that's gone hard, obviously you can't do a whole board in a day, so you'll do that bit, then you go in the other room, do another one, then glass that one. By the time you've done 2 or 3, then you can go home and enjoy life, and then come back the next day, and those boards are all ready. They've hardened up, so you can sand the other side and fiberglass the other side. Then you leave them to the next day, etc. So you're doing a sort of a. It's just you know, you can't just do one in the morning and finish it by the evening. The resin won't dry quick enough. I'll just show you a couple of boards we've got here. They vary so much. A lot of guys are riding high performance boards, which are a bit like this one here, or this kid here. He's having, it's only a small one, but just a slightly scaled up one for the average sort of short boarder would be about 6 foot. But then we get to the sloppy waves. Oh, sorry, this is my mate here. He does most of the work. And he doesn't give me any back chat. I get that when I get home, my missus. But I won't say that because she's holding the camera. This board here is fairly small, but it's good for sloppy waves. A lot of time you get the wind comes on shore in the afternoons, then you need a wider board so you've got more planing area. Other people go towards this. This is for a girl called Sam up on the south coast. It's a knee board, and it's got, as you can see, it's got a big sort of. Sorry about that. Don't worry about my virus. I've had it for 50 years. It's called. Why did I I'll have to go have a beer in a minute. Yeah, so you've got this concave here, so you can get your knees in there, and you can get more responsive. You can really feel it.
That is a whole surfboard. Is that broken, or is that how it is? That short like that?
No, that's how it is.
Has it got fins on it?
George Greenough, who started the shortboard revolution, because he used to ride kneeboards, and he could do so many manoeuvres on a little board like this that everybody used to ride longboards, and they thought, wow, if we could do the manoeuvres that George Greenough's doing. So he was one of the main instigators of the shortboard. So this boards like this were copied back in the late 60s, and boards started getting shorter again. But then people realised everybody was different size, different abilities. So you get on a longboard, and you can either be a ripper on a longboard or just learn. On a shortboard, you're not going to learn very easily because board's it'll sink a lot, it'll wobble a lot, which is great for advanced surfers, but not for, for your average sort of learner, first sort of few steps. So the bigger the board, the easier it is to surf. Only it doesn't turn so easy, and it's a bit more of a pain to carrying it down the beach. Because my throat's a bit. Tomorrow's my birthday, by the way. So I've got this Roger. This one was given to me. That'll be drunk tomorrow. And then another thing in a factory. Where did you learn to surf? And I learned to surf in a place called Fishhook in South Africa. So I've got the Fishhook wine there. There's the bottle there. Also, these remind me of some nights I was in the Canaries that I used to get a bit blottoed and then going for a wave the next day. But sorry about that.
Good job. That was a plastic one.
Oh, that was lucky. That's lucky. But So anybody out there that really thinks they're a surfer, you shouldn't be drinking any of that rubbish. You should drink some of this. Okay?
You've done that. We did that joke once, Roger. That's Catalyst.
Methyl ketone catalyst by the Cornish Fibre Sports is the best to drink, but only drink a pint. Donald Trump said don't drink more than a pint.
Do not try
Otherwise,
this at home,
you get
children.
harmed.
Do not listen to
Or
the
you
man
can
in
use
the
Viagra.
vest. So, Roger, you flagged up something there. So your blanks that you cut out, the chemicals. What's the kind of environmental vibe with surfing? Because obviously, Surfers Against Surge and those guys are passionate about the environment. There's a dilemma with the plastics and the chemicals. Is there as well here? Or?
Yeah, surfers like to be really cool and everybody do something different, but you go down the beach, most of them are all the same. But I'm a surfer, so I shouldn't really say that, but everybody does copy each other a little bit. But everybody likes to be cool. Oh, yeah, you want to save the world. And there's guys flying off all over the place, making a nice bit of pollution, and then they go to these cool places, which is fantastic. But we have to have it on our conscience. The surfers we got these rubber wetsuits that come from the other side of the world. A lot of people are now not using their local shapers. They're buying importing stuff from the same place that coronavirus came from. And because it's a bit cheaper, but then people in England are losing out in the long run because they're not working. But the resin, the fumes are pretty bad, and the fiberglass dust. I mean, I don't like any kids to come in here for very long because it could get on their chest. But I do use this mask here, and I've got another paper mask as well, which is available from. Well, I don't think the NHS sells them anymore. Also, I'd like to give a clap to the NHS, because when I was younger, I got the clap and I had to go to the NHS. But I shouldn't say that either.
So you're giving them a clap back, are you?
It's kept me alive. Sorry?
You're giving them a clap back, are you? Because they took the clap off you.
I beat the clap back. Every Thursday night, I give the clap back. And but they're doing a great job. But then everybody else that's working seems to be doing a good job, especially drug dealers. No. They're not drug dealers.
So, Roger, whereabouts are you? Where are you there in Bude? You're down by the beach, are you?
I'm about 200 yards from Crooklets Beach.
Take us for a walk down there. Let's see what's it like outside. Is it sunny today?
It's sunny, yeah, it's lovely.
Let's go and have a look outside, because I've got to get to Beth pretty soon. We've got to get ready for her party tonight.
Do you want to hold it down?
Yeah, it's
That's good.
Can you get that? Yeah. So there's the factory. That is the tomb. I bury myself in it every day. But really, I mean, it might sound a bit bad, all this stuff, but it isn't quite bad. I've been doing it for 50 years, and I was just as crazy when I was 20 as I am now. So it hasn't really affected me too much, but I'd like to use it as an excuse. But surfing is a good, clean sport, basically. But there are a lot of things like the materials, they are quite toxic. But we're always trying to find sort of better ways and maybe different materials, so we're not messing the world up like a lot of the big sort of capitalist sort of companies. Mine's basically to pay for my beans and my beer.
Take us down the beach, Roger. Take us down the beach, really. Can you wander down the beach? Take us down the beach. Go down to Crooklets. Let's have a look at the sea from here.
Do you
think
it's going to be 5-10 minutes to get there?
Oh, it's 5-10 minutes down there, is it? I'll tell you what, get down the beach. We'll come back to you later on.
Okay, when will you do that?
I don't know, about 15 minutes time.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm going to go to Dave Sargent now. Dave Sargent's doing a cooking live thing. He's trying to break the internet with like thousands of people watching him make a phyllo pastry veggie thing. So we're going to drop in on him, and then I'll come back to you down on the beach. How about that?
Okay, that's great.
Lovely job. All right, Roger, thanks for that. That was brilliant. Thank you very much. See you in a minute.
Cheers.
What a legend. Roger Tait there, Jolly Roger Surfboards. He is the man. He is the man who made my surfboard there, which is that one, that big old plank which I got off John, Backline John. So where are we now? Let's see if we can get Now I've got to go to. So we're going to try and drop in on Dave Sargent, who's a local chef down there in North Cornwall, and he is the man. And he told me I've got to come in on his girlfriend's phone. So let's have a quick look here. So, do you know what the problem is with this? I've actually got to buy credit, believe it or not, because I haven't set any. I don't think I've got any credit on these numbers. Let's just have a look. Let's just try. Damn. Right, so 0, 7, dun, dun, dun. This is riveting, isn't it? Riveting live streaming. Let's have a look. Got to add funds. Okay, so let's add some funds then. Okay, let's get a credit card out and add some funds. This is riveting Power TV. You'd think I'd have this sorted. I thought I had actually, but clearly not. Let's buy £10 worth of credit then. Okay. Oh, we could have tried it for free by the look of it. God, that's a bit annoying. Now it's going to want my credit details. Okay, so really I should play a video or something. Should I give you something a bit more interesting than watching me? How about the film that is all about something that we're really very passionate about here at Steamco? Collaborating for creativity, with the sound of Nile Rodgers and a late night tough guy mix.
It might not work, but here's the thing. The guy who invented the ship also invented the shipwreck. And either you're in or you're out. Either you want to play this game or you don't. Art doesn't work because we did something conventional and predictable, and here it is industrialized, right? Art works because we connect.
So the festival that we will be organising in 2022 is a festival of creativity in its broadest sense. So what we're looking for is events that will help to bring people together and show the value of art.
An event like this is absolutely overdue. Being from a working class family as well, we've never had access to the arts.
I think this is amazing, and we should encourage Nick to do more of this so that we can connect Brent through art. Is actually amazing.
Well, a lot of schools have taken music out of their curriculum, and I find that really appalling.
This book is going to change lives. There are 7 stories.
Keep doing what you're doing. I love your passion. Please keep doing what you're doing, inspiring the kids. I think it's great. Not enough parents spend enough time with the kids. They leave them on the iPads and things like that. And I absolutely love it. Keep doing what you're doing. I love your passion.
Boys will be boys. Better let them have their toys. Girls will be girls. Cute ponytails and curls. Must put an end to this stress and strain. I think I want to live that sporting life.
I'm going to make it happen for you, Nick.
I appreciate that.
Well, I'm going to make it happen for you because what you're doing is, in the end, absolutely brilliant.
I had the idea of getting a big screen to come here and celebrate, and I did a thing called a crowdfunder. I said to lots of people, I only gave myself 24 hours, and they said, you'll never do it.
One time for the Lord.
Art and creativity is absolutely everything, you know, to secure the jobs for the future.
Niall, what does collaboration mean to you?
For me, collaboration is everything. So my whole life is a collaboration.
Okay, so believe it or not, we've actually now got some Skype credits. Oh my goodness. It looks like we had an internet outage as well. I hope everything's still there. Send me a message if it does drop out. In fact, if we drop out, Malumba, can you actually phone me? Because that's pretty heavy, because we have had some internet issues. Okay, so that means I've got a credit. So does that mean I can just call that number now? Let's try. Yes, we are calling that number now. Okay, let's mute that. Whoa, this is pretty scary up here. Okay, so let's see if we've got the man lined up here and ready to go. Are they answering? Looks like they might be. Are they answering? Let's have a look. We can hear, well, we can't hear actually, we can't see anything. Has he got his phone turned off? Earth to Dave Sargent. He's live on Facebook at the moment. He's taken all our traffic away. Where are we? It says we're connected. Dave Sargent, can you hear us? Let's hang up and try again. Let's try again. It says we're connected. Dave Sargent, can you hear us? Okay, we've got that flipping through now, have we? So let's kill that. Okay. So this is day one, so we're learning on the job, as they say, and that's exactly what we're doing here, that's for sure. Oh, why can't you just dial that number again? God, there we go, so I have to click over there. Is that what we want to do? Yeah, let's try this again. And let's hope we've got the right number. Okay, I feel the need to keep talking. It looks like she's answering, but we're not seeing or hearing anything.
To leave your name and number.
Oh, we've got a voicemail, did we? Okay, that's not very good, is it? So, oh, I'm phoning his number. I'm phoning the wrong number. Okay, so let's try the right number. Can't get the staff. So, 0, 1, 2, 3. And if you've ever seen Dave Sargent on cooking, you'll know that he's like a Tasmanian devil. So this is not going to be pretty. This is not going to be pretty. That sounds like it's ringing. Looks like somebody's answered. And let's stand by for some abuse off Dave Sargent, as he'll be stressing. He's doing his daily 4 o'clock daily cookery class. Something's connected. What's connected? Let's have a listen. Hello,
Are you going to put it on there?
Hello, I can hear.
During a live, I've got thousands of people listening to this.
Well, we'd love to see you, mate. It's all very well listening. We'd like to see you. Can you turn your camera on? We've just got a black screen. I know you're not the prettiest person to be looking at, but we'd like some visual.
You just called me on a normal on the phone, and there's I can't FaceTime on it.
Oh, is that have I done it wrong? Hang on, let's see if I can do it the other way then. So does that mean you can't actually do videos to phone numbers? That's no good. Let's try and meet. Can we meet that number? Oh goodness! Does that mean you can't on Skype do a video call to you can't do it? Oh, that's so rubbish. Oh well, let's get rid of that for a minute.
Hey, this is Kelly, but I'm unable to get to the phone at the moment. If you leave a short message,
okay, I've got another idea. What I'm going to do, I've got this little dongle here, and that lets me plug my phone, in theory, into. Can you FaceTime to numbers? I suppose you can. Let's try that. And I need to plug this into one of these video cables, which I don't know if I've got one standing by. Let's have a look. Is that one going to anything? I thought I had an empty one kicking around. There we go. That's a blank HDMI. So this is how it works. I might even show you the kit later. Look, I'm plugging my phone into that. If anybody wants to see behind the scenes of this randomness, then by all means, yeah. Oh no, FaceTime audio. That's no good. FaceTime. The only trouble is, I've got a feeling you won't be able to hear it. I'll have to hold it close to my microphone or something like that. So they're going to come in on number 6. Hello, mate. Hang on. This is all a bit technical now because we're off piste.
Doing rock feast.
Just keep talking. Keep everybody entertained for a minute because I've got to press more buttons now. Turn your phone sideways for starters.
Oh yeah, turn it sideways.
Make like a pro. So are you in the middle of your cooking thing now? Are you?
Yeah, right in the middle of it.
Okay. So tell everybody how amazing today's been, how impressed you are by this bloke from up country who's just captured the airwaves of the internet and whatever we've done. Give it some large.
Say all that again, Nick.
I don't know. Just keep Turn your phone sideways. Turn your phone sideways, will you? You're on.
Sorry?
Turn your phone sideways.
Yeah, it's turned sideways.
I doesn't want to do that. It doesn't. This doesn't work very well, does it? This is my end, not yours. It's not you. It's me. Dave, sorry. Turn your phone the other way. I beg your pardon. Turn your phone the other way. This is why I don't use FaceTime, because it doesn't seem to work terribly well.
Skype it then.
But we can't Skype video calls to phone numbers. Has you got Skype on? Have you got Skype on your phone, Kelly?
I do. Yeah, that was what we discussed last night.
Oh, was it? So Skype, but I can't Skype a phone number. I don't know Kelly's Skype address. Do you remember? I'll text you the address. You Skype me, and we'll do that. Okay. As you were. You've got to love him. You've got to love him. Come on then, let's get this going properly. I'm determined to make this work. So if you're sat there, we've now connected with the beach house. That's good. So Jenny and Beth are dancing like loons around the beach house, because they're going to go live on the interweb, which obviously is the coolest thing that's happened today for them, which is brilliant. So what am I trying to do? I'm going to wait for. I'm going to send him the number. Let's just stick another video up there or something, just to sort of just to keep you all entertained. Here's one. This is me on the top of Big Ben last week. So this is all the me shows. I'm sure you've noticed. Whoa, this is pretty scary up there. Take those down now. I don't think we need that. So we'll just catch that, Dave. Yep. Sorry, mate. Oh, sorry. Birdman on the loose in Westminster. I want to talk to you about books just really quickly. I mean, this is a book that I'm particularly fond of at the moment. David Almond, My Dad's a Birdman. We're going to be announcing a massive book thing in the next few minutes, so stay with me. I love this book. This is a book about a dad after my heart. Dad is building a pair of wings, eating flies and feathering his nest. Auntie Doreen is getting cross and making dumplings. Mr. Pope is parading the streets, shouting louder and louder. And even Mr. Mint, the head teacher, is getting in a flap. And watching it all is Lizzie, missing her mum. No, not even missing her mum, missing her mam. And looking after Dad and thinking how beautiful the birds are. What's behind it all? It's the Great Human Bird Competition, of course. And that book is such an inspiration for me. It's a book about a dad who's a bit crazy, acts a bit crazy, to inspire his kids, to inspire other kids. He wants to fly over the River Tyne. He's covered himself in feathers. Very Icarus-y. So what's it all about? Well, we've got a book thing going on. I mean, I've got my favourite t-shirt on here. But this was inspired by this book, the Seth Godin book, The Icarus Deception. And I know a few of you out there are fans of this, people like David Waring up there in Chester. And there's a lovely little piece in this, The Icarus Deception. It's about Icarus, as you know, the Greek myth, the boy who was told not to fly too close to the sun because his wings might melt. The boy who was told not to fly too close to the water because he might get wet and drown. He was given rules and to fly within those. We've got to help our kids fly high. We've got to help them aim high. We've got to help them find their passion. We call it their art. And in this book, Seth Godin talks about art is frightening. Art isn't pretty. Art isn't painting. Art isn't something you hang on the wall. Art is what you do when we're truly alive. If you've already decided that you're not an artist, it's worth considering why you made that decision and what it might take to unmake it. If you've announced that you've no talent in anything, then you're hiding. Art might scare you. Art might bust you. But art is who we are and what we do, and art is
What's
we
the
need.
made of, Dave?
An artist is someone who uses bravery, insight, creativity and boldness to challenge the status quo. And an artist takes it all of it, the work, the process, the feedback from those we seek to connect with, very personally.
Okay, so then we've got
Artist as a result. We're going live and direct back to the hottest kitchen hot plate in Cornwall. We are going back to Dave Sargent. Can you flip your camera around there, Dave? Let's get professional with this camera angle stuff. Here we go. Get with the pros. So what are you up to there, David?
So we're making a phyllo tart. Say hello to everyone that's on my live feed on Facebook.
Wow, how many have you got on there today? You've broken the internet yet?
300. No, there's not about 20.
That's
20?
good.
19.
19.
Good.
So that doesn't matter. So we're doing a phyllo tart, which is filled with spinach, mushrooms, and feta cheese.
Loving that. I like that. That saucepan looks good. Is that made out of stone, or is it just like one of those old camping enamel ones?
Loads of people say that. I don't know, what is it, Carol?
It's granite, I think.
Granite.
You're sure it's not one of those old enamel ones you get in the pawn shop?
That's been splattered. It might be.
Fantastic.
Okay,
You've got
so
all the
let's put
gear.
our spinach in the bottom. Push the spinach around.
Look at
And
that.
cost flour, water, and a little oil or vinegar.
Okay.
That's how you make it.
So is that your secret? Kelly telling you what to do, is it?
Yeah.
So we have lots of people asking different questions at various times. How's it going there? You busy? What have you got going on?
We've had an interesting chat with Franca. She's done some lovely artwork today. We've had Dan on with his lambs, but he went up to his mum's shop, but there was no data, so he couldn't come on a second time. But we're not going to give up. We've got Richard Ash playing tonight at 10 o'clock. I'm trying to get a couple of DJs. I've got a really epic guy who I'm hoping will do a real kind of crazy thing, like a real old free festival vibe for the 10 to 11 slot. No, not 10 to 11, that's Richard Ash, 11 till 12. I may get him to do a chill out sundowner. So if you know anybody who wants to do a little bit of a DJ thing, then tell them to get in touch. We are just about to speak to Beth. In fact, let's actually, what's that? Feta cheese?
Better.
Any
Lovely.
DJs on Dave's stream? That
Any
fancy
DJs that want to
helping
do any DJs that want to do a set for Nick later from home?
That's the
message
one.
me.
Put the shout out.
out?
So
Trott might do it. You ask him.
David Trott. Who's
that's
David
the
Trott?
one.
He's a DJ in town. Retro 80s sort of stuff.
Oh, okay. So we got our spinach. We've got our feta. We can layer it up a little bit. And then we're going to put on the mushrooms. Let me get this in the oven.
Do you know anybody who's done anything that has actually cooked what you've done on your show? Have you been told?
Loads of people, loads. We've had dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of people. Literally.
Fantastic.
We've got the photos as evidence.
Yeah, we've put loads of collage photos together. We've had people from all over the world joining in. It's been amazing.
So we say that art is the combination of creativity, tools or technology and people, and I think this is the art of cooking, isn't it? Because you're using technology, you're connecting people, you're inspiring them. A lot of people don't know where to start with cooking, but they know it's not hard once you get a plan together, isn't it? Oh, look at that. Lovely. Look at this.
Fold it over. You can scrunch it up at the edges if you want, sort of like that. I'm going to fold it over so like a pie.
Yum.
All right, like this.
There's a bit of controversy going on here.
Oh dear. What's the controversy?
Mike Howe just asked Anne if she was a chef because she told you how to make the phyllo.
Yeah.
And she put, no, just a cook, Mike. Mike Goss put, cooks are the best. These chefs are overrated.
We just had do you know Roger Tout?
Yeah, I know the name.
Yeah, he's the surfboard shaper, Dan Crooklet. So he's just been on for telling us about his surf factory, and it's his 70th tomorrow.
70?
Yeah, that's one advantage of the coronavirus, the fact that there won't be a mad drink up tonight, because I think Bude would get demolished for his 70th. So everybody, they'll all be on Facebook and WhatsApp and Zoom and all that sort of stuff. So I'm gonna, that looks amazing. Look at that. Let's go full screen on that, Dave. Hold tight. Let's go full screen. Let's bring that up full screen. That is superb.
That looks nice. Bang that in the oven. It's all cooked, other than the pastry, obviously. The filling's all cooked. It's all ready to go. So it needs about 18-20 minutes.
And what's the latest with your commercial cooking? Your is that all sorted and delivered, or have you got to run that up later?
Delivered tonight.
You're doing that tonight. So okie dokie. You're going to be joining us up the beach house later. Drop in for a little chat.
Yeah, I'm going to join you again now. Well, you're going to drop in at about 7 o'clock.
It's all virtual, everyone. Don't
all
panic.
virtual. Yeah. No, don't worry. I'm not going out on the lash for them. Then about 9:30, wasn't it?
Yeah, let's do the 9:30 because I'm not sure what we'll be doing at 7 at the moment because we're running out of DJs. So we might just prioritise like an 8 o'clock till midnight selection. That's not a good look. There you go. So
I have told all over again for 42 days.
Wow. So tell everybody on your channel we'll see them up the beach house virtually later on, because I'm now going to go to the beach house. I'm going to go to Beth and her mum Jenny, So lovely to see you again, David. Thank you so much for all your. I can zoom in on you. I think actually, if I press this button here, I can zoom in a bit. There we go. Look, you're right in the middle. Got a good old mug shot there. And now we just got your designer top. Lovely to see you, David. We'll see you later on. Yeah, we'll have a bit of a chat round over a beer at the beach house tonight. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. See you later.
Good job, Kelly. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Keep him in shape. See ya.
Take care.
I'll try.
There we go. The legend, Dave Sargent. And now I'm going to hang up on him, and because we've been jiggling and juggling here, and we've now got. So I'm going to press a button here, and I know all hell is going to break loose in a far-flung corner of the north coast of Cornwall, near Bude, in Widmouth Bay. Actually, there's a lovely little bar there called the Beach House Hotel, and I know that a mother and a daughter are going to be hopping around with excitement when this Skype call comes in, as it's taken them all day to get their Skype working. I'm going to I sneezed like a pro. Did you notice I turned the volume down there to sneeze? And here we are. Here we are. Hello, hello, hello. Turn your phone sideways. Turn your phone sideways. Let's get some wide shots in here. There's Beth pulling her socks up. Look. Oh, it's all frozen on us. What's happened?
We're up on the balcony. It's the best view up here.
Hello, lovely Beth.
Can you see?
We can see. It's the little bit judgy. Have you got Wi-Fi there? Have you got a good signal? Or are you on the date?
Balcony.
Your data's not up to much, love. Are you on Wi-Fi or data? Let's get this up. There we go.
You hear us?
We can just about hear you. Your data's not brilliant there. Are you on Wi-Fi or on the mobile phone network?
I guess it's mobile phone.
Have you got Wi-Fi in that rubbish old hotel you're staying in? Do they offer that as a service?
Because the Wi-Fi.
This is what the internet was invented for, isn't it? Beth's mum's floppy hat. Wonder if anybody's actually watching this. Let's have a look. This nonsense, as Margaret Frost would call it. Hello, my lovers. Are you there? We've got the sky. Oh, have we lost them? Poor connection.
I can't see you, but we can hear you.
You don't need to see me because I've turned you off because you're not going to see very well there. Can you? Now you sideways there for some reason. That's odd.
Oh, we can turn around and we'll give
That's
you the
better.
view. Try turn your main computer.
We'll go that way, Beth.
That looked really good for a minute. We'll just get this set up and settled. It keeps dropping out by the look of it.
That's BT for you. That's our internet. It's horrendous.
Even though you've got a big cable coming up on the beach.
Oh yeah, we're on cable. We can hear you.
Well, I can hear you perfectly. Well, on and off. It does keep dropping out. Hold the phone a bit further back, so we can get you both in, or prop it up or something. Although we're not going to hear you then, are we? So who have we got here? Tell us who you are. Let's have a little potted personal history from each of you. Looking at the screen, all I'm getting is a gap between you both there. There's Jenny. Hello, Jenny. Okay. Oh, that's that's lovely. That's lovely. We like that. Hold that shot. Hold that shot. That's perfect. So who have we got here then? You've got two sisters, is it? You both sisters?
Yeah, right. I'm the short, dumpy one. I'm saying nothing. Beth, Jenny, hi, it's my mum from the beach house overlooking Widmouth Bay, and it's hot and the car park's busy and people.
Although that's a bit worrying.
Yeah, but they are socially distancing. It's a mile wide, the beach, so everyone's being well behaved, just coming out, enjoying some sun and some sea therapy.
Fantastic. So you run the bar there then, the hotel there, Beth, do you? This is your enterprise?
Yeah, so bit of a family venture. We're North Cornwall's venue on the beach, and we're home of the Great Rockin' Beach Bar, which is what me and my partner run on site. Mum and I both have a background in community, youth work, information advice, health and well-being, arts. And arts. So having worked in government, council, frontline, charity, voluntary. We ran festivals for years, and we realised we need a venue to make it, not just a festival once a year, but a house that you could have as a permanent space for the communities in North Cornwall. We're a rural community, so isolated.
Rubbish internet, BT, please sort.
Obviously, we're not just Widmouth Bay is Bude, but we're also service Boscastle, Launceston, North Devon, Colzeth, Weybridge, Camelford, Tintagel, Crackington, all the villages that make up North Cornwall. North Cornwall is one of the most popular holiday destinations in Cornwall, and it's definitely up and coming as it's the final untouched frontier up here. And Bude is obviously an amazing community, as you're highlighting today and have before. And there's a wealth of awesome going on. And the idea was to come home to North Cornwall, where Mum lived and I grew up, and to bring some of the magic home to the communities, as well as celebrate some of the great stuff going on. And a venue is a brilliant way to promote happy, healthy, sustainable communities in every form. And collaboration is key. And we're really chuffed to support you with your brilliant initiative.
Well, I mean,
we loved your day. Thank you for coming down and doing that with the kids. They loved it.
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
And you're known
loved
as
it.
Rocket Man here.
Oh, that day we did the home education day we did there with you at the beach house. Do you mean? Do you mean the day we did the afternoon session? Tell us about that, Beth. What do those people do every week in the school?
So the Home Hub is a wonderful, it's a very informal group of families that Home Hub school their children at home. And it's just a way of them coming together in an informal space. And they can take over the beach house and let
And the garden
and the
and the
garden.
beach. And it's very much about rewilding the children and getting them outdoors and dim building, camp building, working with found materials to make collages, baking, growing, music. They're really creative.
Incredible, yeah.
And your visit really lifted them. That was amazing. Especially that the youngsters love science and astrology and the stars and engineering. It ticks so many boxes.
It's funny because that
So
rocket
well
thing, that rocket thing is very, very accessible. But I hate to get stereotyped and pigeonholed into the rocket thing. I mean, what's not to like about firing a dynamite rocket? And that is just epic, isn't it? And we'll have to come down there and do that this summer again. But it provides that engagement, doesn't it? As you know. Say what? You've broken up on
It's just a great way. It's the proof in the pudding, isn't it? It's used art to engage young people into science, into other things that they don't really realise they're learning, because it's an informal, artistic sort of setting which gets kids involved, and then they learn loads of other life skills and other subjects as well, which you can bring into art.
Yeah, and with the lack of air pollution now, I'm hoping that from this, a lot more children in the cities will have a greater interest in astronomy, because if you can't see the stars, how would you ever think about a career working in astronomy? And we were pushing when I was in London for one day of the year where all the lights are off, just so that everyone can see what a night sky looks like. But they reckon that even the air pollution at night would make it difficult. One day isn't enough. So
it's funny. It doesn't feel like a lot. It doesn't feel like a lot to ask, does it?
Good things to come.
What a lovely thought! Actually. What a lovely thought! Because we have a light festival in London every couple of years. Wouldn't it be lovely to have a dark festival? Where you can actually see beyond the electric lights that we create. There's a lovely vibe that would be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
it's stunning. And here we've got really good night skies, because obviously we have a very small village and there's not a lot of houses. So obviously the light pollution here, we don't even have street lights in the bay, so it's very dark.
One of the few dark skies area in the UK, so we do get a lot of photographers, wildlife photographers, landscape photographers, and night gazers.
Lots of creative folk and a lot of public service workers, and our hearts go out to all of them. We hope that, we just hope that anyone who is at home and enjoying this, or it's just trying to bring a bit of joy in worrying times, you know. And obviously, with your focus being young people, we live in a community over 30% of children were living in abject poverty before COVID. So we know it's not just the crisis of COVID, it's the huge social ramifications and impacts that are happening because of COVID. And, you know, that impact is having a huge impact on a lot of young people. In fact, well, I remember, Nick, to help more young people access the wonderful stuff you're doing, the Good Law Project have managed to be lobbying government and to get support financially to help buy young people computers at home so that they can learn at home while the lockdown is on. A lot of young people don't have access to internet or computer, and the Good Law Project are trying to help that. So if there are young people that are, you know, can't get online, if, you know, when you're networking with some of your community workers and stuff, the Good Law Project, really brilliant stuff.
That sounds great. We've been sponsored. I was supposed to be doing a keynote speech somewhere, and they said, look, if we give you some money, we'll help you set the studio up, which is brilliant. They're a big organisation that do the internet for schools in London. They're a charitable trust, and they're now rolling out across the country. But basically, they've just placed an order, get this, for 2 million digital devices, tablets and laptops, and they've gone out for the biggest procurement ever of computer tech, so that they can get the best possible price and pass it on at cost to challenged communities. So that's John Jackson at LGFL. So we'll need to connect him up with the Big Law, because basically they've got distribution, he's got the buying power, and that's what we call collaboration. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's been some amazing stuff online. Obviously, we try and showcase the best of North Cornwall, and obviously, Mum runs the sort of B&B side. It's the visitors that come to Cornwall that we're trying to create a sort of social model with commercial, but a social sort of minding, really. But if we can use the visitors that come to Cornwall to help subsidise the community venue that we can then offer community groups for no charge, or we can, you know, subsidise doing more in our community, whether that's music or whatever. Visitors coming down here and actually supporting that. We have 38 countries stay here from across the world, and obviously normally we're showcasing the good stuff, but at the moment, you know, we are being visibly raising some of the major issues that we've got for children and young people. And, you know, food is a real issue at the moment. Food poverty, mental health. We had in Cornwall, our suicide stats before COVID were 1 a week. So at the moment, we're not highlighting the good stuff in Cornwall, we're trying to highlight some of the issues, because obviously if you don't raise the issues, you can't affect change. And you know, we need after this, there's going to be a lot of people, especially our NHS key workers, people with families, loved ones. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to have a long recovery process after this, and our hearts go out to them. And you know, we've had a lot of emails from our NHS regulars and public service workers that all stay here. They love the laid back house, and we've had some really beautiful messages from them looking forward to coming and staying when we're open safely again. But obviously, you know, we are, you know, art and collaboration and magic and bringing joy to a lot of people in trauma is going to be needed after this, to bring people back together and look at how, you know, obviously all of us have been, you know, our communities have been in crisis from austerity for many years. So lots of us in community workers or ex-community or public service, NHS have been in crisis. We've had a youth crisis. We've had a mental health crisis. So this has just ramped up this crisis and sort of opened the sort of, you know, it's really shown the lack of integrated services and the problems that we're now having to get this support out because of the change.
From that, there will be more money for the arts at the end of this, because the arts is well known for helping, supporting people with mental health issues. It's really good therapy. On that note, there's 3 artists that would have been exhibiting here this summer. There's Helen Skidmore. Her Art on the Beach exhibition is on hold, and that was part of a master's degree. She's doing workshops. That was aimed to go in July.
Black Tide we've got now.
Lighter Tide. photography. We've got them on now, but of course we're closed.
And unfortunately, one of them's in Germany. One
Yeah,
of them's in
he's
Cornwall,
locked
and he
down.
got stuck in Germany and couldn't come back.
Yeah.
So we've got the art on the wall, and we'll make a big display of it when
Yeah.
we come back. But one really exciting exhibition that we were meant to have.
Yeah,
Um,
Cold War Steve.
Cold War Steve. We were due to be hosting the International Exhibition of the People, global exhibition, community venues across the world. And that's due to be running now as we speak. But Cold War Steve, I don't know if you follow him, but check him out on Twitter. He's absolutely phenomenal.
Cold War
Artist,
Steve.
Danish.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think I like him.
Contemporary, controversial, of the time.
Well, if
Brilliant,
art needs to,
brilliant.
there's a phrase that I've got to stick it downstairs. Something that art needs to challenge the uncomfortable and make the comfortable uncomfortable and the comfortable uncomfortable. Whatever. There's one of those phrases that art needs to be provoking, challenging, and making people think.
What he does well. Yeah,
Really well.
really well.
Well,
On
I-
a good note, do you want to have a look at the beach and the sea?
Yeah, take us for a walk
I don't
down
know
there.
if you can hear it in the
do you
back.
think the data will work that far? Are you on Wi-Fi or mobile data at the moment? We're going for a wander down the beach by the look of it.
One of the
Fantastic.
great, one of the groups that we in the community pre-here that we continue to work with, showing people in how to put events to improve their communities using arts, music, food.
I hope this isn't an indication that your data is going to go worse the further you go down the beach. There we go. It's a bit cloudy. Oh, we've lost them. We've lost them completely. That's not good.
Using
Oh, let's move back.
I can hear you now. That's good now. I can hear you now. I can't see
brilliant.
much.
Yes, it was a really exciting event that we hosted here with young people that we trained over the years. We trained my mum and I over 20 years doing festivals, and then through various jobs and various different organisations have just followed on this various work. But these young people came back here and brought one of their events called Graph Jam to the Bay, bringing graffiti artists and DJs and live music and good local food in the garden. And they also, when we first moved in, they did a shelter box campaign, and they got local artists to donate art, and the young people raised a significant nearly 5,000 to support, I think it was the Philippines at the time.
Wow.
So yeah, it's really, we are community workers. We run a venue for our community, so obviously we have to do everything that running a public space involves, which is obviously hard work and all of the boring bits, and we live in a bed sit at the back of the house. It's hard work, and it's but it's look, we realise we're living in the back of the house going, hang on a minute, what we doing? We're not open to the public, so we've moved into the best rooms and trying to learn how to make the house a home for us, because we don't have a home, we live at work. Mum's on the vulnerable group, so we've had to socially isolate. So for people that are normally right in there, it's been a really hard one for us. But we've been we were hoping once the government support was out, and once we'd overcome our crisis, because obviously we've got our own internal community of staff, we've had a lot, obviously it's been really hard for everybody. Paramount health is paramount, and we shut actually before the enforcement was locked down, because Cornwall only had 15 ICU beds and 500,000 people, and we had an NHS crisis before, so Cornwall was incredibly worried, like everywhere. So yeah,
But we're looking forward to reopening and getting
Yeah.
a programme of arts and music back on ASAP, because people need it. They just
Absolutely.
need it.
And we
Do you-
don't.
I mean, I swear. I mean, we're looking at a photo of your web page now. We've got the picnic tables out. We've got the umbrellas there. People sat in the cushions. I mean, for my money, you have got one of the best locations in Cornwall there. It's no, I'm not just flattering. I don't need to. I mean, you showed me many other places in Cornwall. There's nowhere in Bude. I mean, a few of the restaurants have got some good views. The most popular pub in the area is over the road from you on a busy road. You're totally secluded. It's unbelievable. It's lovely, and I kind of struggle to understand why it's not absolutely ramming. Why you're not doing a 10 CD box set of sunset sessions, and it's hard, isn't it?
It's that, but it's also, when we came back, the commercial world that we knew before austerity and the crash was very, very different.
Yeah.
And running a seasonal business where we're rammed for 3, 4, 5 months, or maybe 3, 4 months a year. But unfortunately, if the weather goes to rain in September, October, then you're winter and loss right until Easter. So the reality for any seasonal businesses right now is we've had no tourism since October 2019.
Wow.
If we can't open till September, which if that's the safe, right thing to do, we totally will support and back that. But if that's the case, then Cornwall or any seasonal place, if we then can't open till September and that's the end of the season and the bad weather comes in, Cornwall on seasonal businesses will have no trade from let's say that's October 2019 to Easter 2021.
So that's almost 18 months of that real solid business.
They won't survive. So we are all in the hands of government. I know that it's been raised again this week in Parliament's questions, in the briefing. We needed to lock down. It was absolutely essential, but the government lockdown support is yet to come out to a lot of people, and a lot of people like Cornish seasonal workers, they're not entitled to be furloughed. So there's going to be a lot of people who are struggling already in a place where it's very hard to have a sustainable business or a sustainable life if you live in an area where you've got to make your money for 3 months, and then you have months of either breaking even or big loss. And that's where it becomes constant hard work, because winter's even harder because there's no money and it's really, really hard, and you're trying to keep local people in work. We're doing up a very old house that from the previous owners that hadn't, retired in their late 70s, and they hadn't decorated for 47 years. So every spare penny goes back into keeping it alive in the winter.
Well, what I'd say, Beth, is what I would say is that my comment wasn't a criticism of you in any shape or form. It was as much as anything.
I take it as a compliment and appreciate your kind words and support. Where Cornwall is too busy for the 6 weeks holidays, which is great that everybody loves coming here, but it's getting to the point now because of the impact of. We've obviously been having the Brexit in January. That obviously impacts, global booking of holidays in the winter and UK travel, because people have been waiting to see what the outcome was so that they didn't lose money and just to get that certainty. So obviously it's just meant for some sort of tougher times for a lot of people. And what we found in Cornwall is that it's made the Easter holidays, the Maybank holiday and the 6-week summer holidays particularly busy, but the shoulder periods where you get a lot of European travellers have been a lot quieter. And it's the shoulder periods that help Cornwall survive. And Cornwall, we have child poverty across the county. Our child health stats are frightening. We've got one of the poorest counties in Europe. Some malnutrition in children is worse here than, sort of much poorer economies in, say, Romania. And that poverty and that deprivation comes from the heavy dependence on tourism or fishing and farming, which is obviously, fishing has really struggled over the years. Farming is obviously brilliantly having a really good boom at the moment as people go local, and we need to bring more local food. People are, it's keeping money in the local economy for not just Bude, Cornwall, but seasonal communities, because the more we put money into more sort of big corporate leaves the community, and actually as more sort of bigger companies coming into Cornwall, that obviously that's your local economy. So I think it's really key for sustaining Bude is to look at a longer economy, looking at focusing more marketing and on out of season. Come to Cornwall now, like not now obviously, but in May, outside of the half term, Easter, half term and summer, that's the peak. And the rest of it, we've definitely got a better, longer season in Bude, and we're getting a lot more people. We've got best town in the UK. We've had some amazing stuff going on, and Bude is a town that does it for itself. We're 60 miles away from county council. We're 60 miles away from our hall for Cornwall. We are North Cornwall. We go to Plymouth, we go to Exeter. There are nearest hospitals, nearest town cities for young people who want to go out and do other things. So I think there's a lot, we need to look. Localism I'm very scared about, because localism has taken funds away from public services and put them to corporations now running services. And obviously now a lot of us as businesses, we support our local schools, or people support the sea pool. They are funding the toilet roll for schools, or we might be donating for the youth club, the Blend, which is self-run by amazing brother and sister team volunteering their time. All the people locally are trying to give, even if they haven't got money, give wine or give something for a raffle. And with businesses really struggling, this is going to be a real issue for Bude and for Cornwall, because Cornwall is one of the highest gift donators. I don't know if you've seen stats before, but people who perhaps suffer more are aware more and they donate more. So Cornwall has got a very high sort of charitable reputation of being good, strong communities, but we have to be.
Well, it's interesting because I did a community camp at Eden Project before Christmas, and there's a lot of good work at a community level going down there, because I think you and your mum have both worked at Eden Project. What sort of projects did you work on with those guys, and what was the impact on both the local and the national community of that?
Well,
I'm saying nothing.
Yeah, we both worked drumming. I was taken on originally to look at. I actually went for a conference and banqueting job, and they said, "You're not conference and banqueting manager." I said, "No, I want to make a venue for Cornwall, and I think Eden could be the mothership," and was very passionate about promoting Eden as a community venue, promoting more community work and being able to utilise the space. So we ran the arts cafe down there, so promoting live music, art, all the good stuff. As I say, bringing that festival into a night, which is the venue we're trying to do here. We had Jelly Jazz resident DJs, then I put different live bands and art and music. It's very interactive, and we championed a lot of community work, and we set up the community days, the free community days, and lots and lots of different projects. And then obviously we launched the Big Lunch, which I was on the original group for. And then we've been getting a lot of funding bids. Obviously it was a hard time financially. So we're getting lots of funding bids in, and we weren't sure. There was redundancies and stuff. So when we didn't know if we'd get the money, and if we didn't, we might lose work. So at that point, I was so worried about losing my work that we started looking out and thought, well, we're not going to get the job, so we'll leave. And then the money came in, and we were offered jobs on the new community. Mum took the job. I obviously had, planning to leave by that point, and was starting to look out. So didn't stay, but the actual community project that you went on is more.
We've lost you. Oh, that's a shame. We lost our connection. Hang on.
Strategic.
It's like any corporate charity. It does what it does.
It's got a great venue, and that's the
inspirational
thing about the architecture there. It's very, you can't not go there and not be inspired because of the architecture, the horticulture, and it is an amazing feat of engineering and design. And if you're taking some of the young people that we worked with in some of the UK's poorest communities, to go there is a mind-blowing experience. But it's very much targeted, so it's not about working in St Austell or working in, it's about inviting specific people like yourself to come to a camp, and then it's up to you to go back and to drive that change. So it's about bringing people that do good stuff out there to kind of go and get inspired in a place, and then that's for you as community workers to go and sort of drive that. So it's not so much let's work in this town or that town. It's about the street party once a year being used as a focus, very much like what our work has been doing for years, like we were doing there, is about using that party model to bring people together and
start
actually
conversations.
Yeah, and that's having such an amazing backdrop there is their forte to make to really inspire people if they're coming from a really hard background and a very poor community, and someone offers you the amazing experience to have this free trip to Cornwall. And some of these young people, they've never even been to a beach, they've never seen a cow. It's amazing. It's great that money is then afforded to be able to get people to things that they might not ordinarily go to, but it's very targeted at you guys and people working in the community, as opposed to the community. The big lunch itself does that. So yeah.
I was delighted actually. I did on that community camp. I went there and Peter Stewart, one of the directors of Eden Project, you probably know, he pulled up a PowerPoint of Big Lunch, and the first photo was the Big Lunch that we organised in my street here in Paddington in London. So I was quite chuffed about that. So I think we've probably had a connection already, because you've probably seen that picture in your time before now. But,
yeah, absolutely.
And
the Big Lunch concept is a fantastic concept. It's a very simple idea. It's the idea that you can just go and have a party and you don't need to really do anything. And you know, the thing about a party is people think, oh, you know, oh, Beth's putting on a party, and actually it's not just the night, it's the build up to it, it's the campaign that's linked with the message that your party is about. There's always a message, whether that's we did the Disraeli launch, and he went on to go across the world raising funds so he could create his album for mental health. And it was incredible, you know, an amazing slam poet, UK slam champion, who speaks openly about his own issues of mental health. And he goes on to use music. And he came here and he did the most incredible gig. And he went on, like I say, across the world, raised thousands of pounds. He's now launched the Unmastered and he's doing really good stuff. I'm sorry, I don't know where that tangent came from.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
And that event was a music night, but it was about men's mental health, and having a young rapper talk about mental health is a great way of getting young men to see that it's okay to cry, and it's okay to talk, and it's better to let it out. And doing events, you don't just have the campaign, but you also have the build up. So for example, if you are training young people and you're putting on a festival, you might create 200 training opportunities in sound, creative jobs, all the jobs that we don't have an abundance of in Cornwall when we started 20 years ago. Now Cornwall has a wealth of creative, we've always been a creative place, but it's becoming more accessible, and there is so much now in Cornwall and so more venues. And oh yeah, Oral Fixation is another great project we host here with lovely James Dixon. He's a local musician. He's really into community, and he another supporter of the Beach House. And we were really delighted to host his night, which is a listening project. It's about young new talent having a platform in which to sing, maybe
writers, performers.
Yeah,
it's all young musicians that have written their own music and sit and perform it, and people, usually 40 to 50 people come along, and it's purely to sit and listen. And we've had people go out in tears after some performances.
In a lot of pubs people talk and chat over music, whereas this is a listening thing where you get to listen to the new artist bare their soul, if you like. And it's great. And the model he set up is brilliant. They each have so many tickets to sell and whatever, and that's how they make their money. They make their money. So we give a free venue, and then they have the chance to sell their tickets each, and they all get paid through the doing that collaboratively. And he showcases 3 new artists at each show. His own gigs have really taken off last year. And I did hear, I've been off Facebook for quite a while, and obviously with all of this going on, it's been a tricky old time, but I did hear that he'd got I believe he's got linked with C6 Steve, and he's going to be supporting him. I don't know if that's a tour or some one-off gigs, but obviously Bude was really chuffed. C6 Steve is North Cornwall, he lives here, and he supports the local Leopalooza Festival, which is an incredible grassroots festival, homemade, DIY. It's Cornwall's biggest arena now. It's underground. It's
but people come from as far away as Brazil and Chile for Leopalooza. I think the maximum is 5,000 capacity.
Started as a house party in a field with 500 people,
wow.
And now they've got a license for 10,000. And I have heard that they've managed to successfully reschedule the artists that they have booked for their one-off concerts this year for next year. But we shall see on Leopalooza. I don't think it's looking hopeful, but I've, like I say, I've been off Facebook, so I don't know any updates. But it's worth promoting, because it's the event of Bude of the year. It's last one out, Bude turn off the lights. But it's not just Bude, like I say, it's all the communities that come here. Boscastle, Polesheath, Launceston, and people from, like Mum said, all over the world. But it's there's no corporate sponsorship, there is no corporate structure, there is no corporate advertising. It's
exactly homemade DIY North Cornwall, and it is
Brilliant bands.
brilliant.
Fantastic food, chilled atmosphere, amazing DJs, all in the wilds in this Bermuda Triangle of North Cornwall.
Yeah.
But you just see cars going up and down looking lost. You all know they're looking for Leo Palooza.
Yeah. And what's amazing is because they've done it on one of the guys has got a family-owned farmland there. What they do is that, like us, they've been building a venue. Their venue's obviously way more exciting than ours. It's amazing. It's like the dream. It's massive. It started as a field, but every year they've invested any money back into building infrastructure. So each year they add more and more, and they have built the Neverland of North Cornwall, and it's amazing. And the amount of people that have helped organise, worked on it, built the stages, it's an amazing place. So if you get the chance to get up there, Nick, with what you're doing, give them a shout. And
that really sounds fantastic. I'm absolutely blown away. Actually, it's brilliant talking to you two. But I have got. No, don't go away. I'm not getting rid of you. We have got an utter legend on the other line. I'm just going to try and go to him now. Hang on a second. I need to do a little bit of juggling here with my button pressing. So, Gaz, can you turn your phone round sideways? Gaz, can you hear me? That's it. That's it. Spot on. So we have got. You're in Cornwall, and I am here in Paddington. I'll be honest about that. You guys are down there in Cornwall, and on the other line we have actually got a legend from West London, Gaz Mayle, who's Gaz at the Trojans. Can you hear us, Gaz?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Fantastic. So do you know Gaz Mayle? Do you know Gaz?
I don't think so.
So Gaz is an utter legend. He's a West London staple. He was actually honoured last year as a pioneer of the Notting Hill Carnival because he's been involved in it for so long. And so Gaz, just so you know, we've got Jenny and Beth on the line who run a beach cafe in Cornwall, but it's almost a community enterprise. So it's all about the local community, and they're really working hard to feed people who are struggling. They used to work at the Eden Project. Beth and Jenny, the problem that Gaz has got is that he runs one of the best sound systems on Carnival, Arts Council funded. Unbelievable what goes on his stand.
We dream of getting there, but being event organisers and running venues and not having much of a life, we don't get out much.
You don't get out much. Well, so what we're going to do. So Gaz, let me just talk to Gaz for a minute. So Gaz, where are you at the moment? You're out of town, are you?
I'm on the Welsh border. I'm on the Welsh borders.
Okay.
I can see Wales from here. I'm about half a mile away from Wales.
Fantastic.
Up in the hills, Bandit country.
Bandit country. Well, you're in the right place, man. So tell me what. I don't know if you heard the news, Gaz, but I know you heard the news because we had a bit of a chat about it. But basically, Carnival's been cancelled this year. What was your feeling when you heard that? Gaz, we've lost.
Well, not surprised, but the main reason why I think it was inevitable wasn't because of the size of the crowds. I think really what it's down to. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's all good.
Okay, that's good. The main problem was, it takes months of planning. Most of the outfits there and most of the arenas, the mass parades, sound system, floats, whatever, they need to get funding and they need to have everything in, health and safety planning, risk assessments, all that kind of thing. Doesn't just sort of happen at the last minute like it used to in the 70s and early 80s. Now there's so much infrastructure that needs to be in place, and unless you know that you can definitely go ahead, it's very hard to put all that in place and pre-plan it and get all the necessary funding. So I thought that if they haven't been able to get 100% thumbs up from the government, they'd have to shelve it, because otherwise the police are going to say no at the last minute. People will invest their own money, hoping that they could get it on at the last minute. But I don't see how that's going to happen, really. So everyone's had to capitulate to the inevitable, and so it's shelved until next year. It's a shame. I saw that coming a long way away. I don't think anyone's particularly surprised.
Well, the thing is,
my team was still up for doing it in one form or another. I'm still up for doing something. Maybe we could do something together, Nick, with your art takeover.
Well, that'd be fantastic, mate. So I had all my work, like you, all my work was cancelled. All my work was cancelled a month ago, and one company stood by us, LGFL, who are like a charity that do technology for schools. They do creative tools, and they said, look, if we build you a TV studio, will you use it to connect communities and do community work? And I said, absolutely fantastic. So basically, we've got a full TV studio. We've got all the internet capabilities. And what I'm going to ask you now is, I run a non-profit community enterprise. You've been to Parliament with us. You let us use one of your songs last year. Would you be interested in us collaborating with you? Maybe I know that Portobello Radio, and we could do something that weekend and we could smash it. But not only for the millions that come to Carnival, but the millions across the world. I know you're a global sensation. You know, Gaz's Rockin' Blues, you're in Japan 3-4 times a year. Do you fancy that? Should we do something together? How do you feel?
Yeah, 100%. Totally with you on that. Yeah, we definitely should do something.
Well,
very keen to do something. I mean, we can't just roll over and fold our cards like the rest of the country is. Because, you know, I mean, I've got my opinions about how all this is unfolding. And I don't think I'm going to let any virus, unless it kills me out of the blue. But I think I must have had it months ago. And I'm not going to let anything like that interfere with the resilience of Notting Hill and our determination to spread art and music and joy and happiness interracial, international vibes around the place, and keep the spirit of Notting Hill up and happy like it's supposed to be. And so if there's anything more I can do or that we could do together, let's get it on, huh?
Well, I got an Arts Council grant on Wednesday. I've got a little bit of money which I can put into it. It doesn't have to be about money. Gaz, this is about having the attitude of making it happen, and it sounds like you've got that determination to keep the flag flying. Tell us, we're actually looking at the moment at the video of your stand last year with the Houses of Parliament. Tell us what the inspiration was behind your stage last year at Portobello, and tell us the history of your stage at Portobello, because you're a bedrock,
we have a
aren't
different
you?
theme every year, you know, and
Go on.
Can you see me all right? Can you hear it?
We can hear you perfectly. Keep talking.
Or you're watching the programme? Okay, we have a different theme every year. Every year we do a different theme. We had Pirates of the Caribbean. We've done Cowboys and Indians. That's Carnival. The other Can You Spare a Pound video that you're looking at, that you used for your do, was that was inspired just by one of the sessions that we've been through. I'd recorded that, 25, 30 years ago, I suppose. But it's based on an old Rudy Valley song from the Great Depression in the 30s. And I just thought I'd do a UK version of it. When was that? Probably 89, something like that, the original lineup of my band, the Trojans. Anyway, I'm glad you enjoyed that. I'm glad it was able to be used for a good cause with your Arts Foundation.
Absolutely. So what you need to do then is get yourself a vibe, because you could get the whole world getting into that vibe. If you theme it, you could get people doing their own. If you create a theme this year that's appropriate, we could build a virtual set. I'm looking at the Houses of Parliament on All Saints from last year, but we could build that set virtually, technologically. We could superimpose you on it, get the band playing, because the band will probably be able to play, and we could stream that on this platform. You know, I'm talking to Piers and Chris Sullivan and Greg down at Portobello Radio, and really make a community thing out of this. And I'm sure that the Portobello Radio are talking to the BBC about doing something, but you know, let's make something happen with them, in collaboration with the guys at the Tabernacle, Charlie Phillips and all the pioneers, and let's make it work, huh?
Yeah, I love Charlie Phillips, great photographer, true legend, been taking pictures since the 50s and early 60s. Got the visual narrative of history of the Windcross generation in Notting Hill. Piers Thompson and Greg there at Portobello Radio, fantastic people doing a fantastic job in Portobello Road. We've collaborated several times and put on events. I'd love to work with all of those people and anyone else who's keen to get involved. All right, I'll come up with a theme. At the moment, it just seems something like everything's gone viral. That's probably a too depressing a theme to work with right now, so let's come up with something a lot more fun. Any ideas out there from anybody listening?
Well, maybe that's the shout. If anybody's watching
Or
now,
taken on board and put into their hands, let's do something else.
absolutely. I think one theme I'm getting is
Okay,
that
so, you know, put that out and let's see what people come up with.
absolutely. I think the vibe I'm getting, Gaz, is that everything's
Huh?
everything's got to change. That's the vibe I'm getting. Everything's got to change. This is a time for a restart, a reboot. What does the world look like? Let's design a new world. I don't know. Let's get some ideas going.
And
Well,
COVID just
people-
reminds
a lot
us
of people
how
definitely
important
be
that
looking
global
at lives and
collaboration is.
Hang on, Beth. So hang on, Gaz. Beth, go on, go, Beth, go.
Oh, I was just going to say COVID is just a massive reminder at a timely moment of how important it is for the world to work together. And Notting Hill, you couldn't think of a better advocate for a global force of celebration at a time.
So Beth, if there's no if, we are going to do. We are going to do Gaz's Rocking Blues on Carnival weekend at the end of August. Can we count on the Beach House down in Widmouth to be a collaborator on that?
Absolutely,
That'll be
we'd
fab.
love it.
On that same note, if you go to Cold Harbour Lane, Loughborough Junction, the Sunshine Arts Cafe,
Brixton,
Ray, who runs that, he's been with Notting Hill from the beginning, but he does the clothing and the outrageous, fabulous outfits that the Notting Hill Carnival crews wear.
Brilliant.
So he'd be up for collaboration. He does wonderful workshops and he could do online stuff.
Well,
He's fabulous.
I'll tell
Ray
you-
at Sunshine Arts Cafe.
Okay, so here's
Just one other thing
go on.
to add.
Go, Beth.
One of the biggest is, like you talked
Ray
about
Get
the
involved.
health and safety. There's a lot of community carnivals, much smaller than Notting Hill, that are struggling to keep going now because of the cost of health and safety. I mean, we worked on St Austell Carnival. That was only 20,000 people, which is huge for a Cornish carnival, but it's tiny in comparison to what you do. But it's a massive issue. And obviously, with the police cuts, community events having sometimes pay for, a police presence, or they're demanding too much police presence. And I think actually it almost needs a sort of national conversation of how you can make it easier and reduce barriers for communities. Because, one of the things, I met the Minister for Culture many years ago, and they were saying, we want to put money into arts and young people and music. And I said, young people have music and arts where we live. They do it for themselves, and the police shut them down. They didn't want the government telling them what culture they should have. They've got their own underbelly of culture, and they're doing it for themselves. But what they need is a government that makes it easier for them to do the culture that is relevant to the generation. And Notting Hill is a phenomenal, multi-generational, intergenerational, multicultural. It's just incredible. And it might be that there's 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 carnivals across the country at risk, because with all of the the impacts that businesses helping communities, or less money around, it's going to be even harder for communities to celebrate with less businesses having no money to help to support.
Absolutely.
So it's going to need a government or a national focus to look at it.
Well, let's
events a year just to fundraise to pay for the insurance and public liability and road closures.
Yeah.
And that money should be going to the community fund that they're raising for, not just health and safety. And I get it, people sue and you need to cover yourself. We've been doing festivals for years, and it is a real concern, with the litigation culture.
Yeah, well, let's keep on the details.
Celebration.
Absolutely. So I think what we'll do is,
either way, we've got to work with the government because that's what we've got now. And I'm not thinking about next year, 2021, because we'll be back on by then anyway. But thinking like this coming August.
Oh,
we're
no.
now, so we've got to work with whatever we've got now. Simple as that.
Well, what I would say to you is that the Department of Digital, Culture, Media and Sport, they're working towards a national festival of creativity in 2022. They've got £120 million put aside for it. Next year is Coventry City of Culture. And I think what we can do this August is show what Grassroots can do to be a part of that in 2022. And I think we can show here, Gaz and Deb and Beth and Jenny there, we can show what we can do in a month. We've got 6 weeks. So, well, no, we've got more than that, 2.5 months, the end of August, to pull something off virtual and show what we can do, create these connections so that we can come back in 2021 and 2022. Jenny and Beth, it's great to have you on. You stay here, but Gaz, I'm going to let you crack on, mate. I know you've got some holes to dig.
Gaz, what was your surname? I didn't catch Gaz's surname.
Oh, Gaz Mail and the Trojans. He is an utter legend. He's got one of the best bands. Gaz, describe your band quickly and your lineup. Talk through your lineup, Gaz.
Name Mail. Thank
well,
you.
Just Google it.
I know your work, and it's one day we'll get there. And thank you so much, and thank you, and good luck with your amazing work. It's brilliant. Thank you.
We'll get Gaz DJing. We'll get Gaz to do DJ jet. Thanks a lot, Gaz. You take care, Gaz. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, man. Take care. Good. Thanks for calling in. Cheers, man. Wow. So that was an utter legend there, ladies. So, oh, you've both gone, have you? What have you gone as well? What have you gone for? I wasn't hanging up on you. We've got a party to organise tonight. Where do you think you're going? Turn the phone round again. You're not getting off. We've got a party to organise for tonight. What are you on about? Let's get you back up on the air. That's the wrong one.
Bye.
The what?
Can you see us?
We can see you, yeah.
Can you see us and hear us?
We can see and hear you. Keep the phone, because what we were doing was getting a lot of sky between you. You weren't getting the face of the person who's talking, but don't worry too much. So tonight, it's currently 5:15. We need to get some stuff sorted out. What's set in stone at the moment is Rich Ash is going to do a set for us, 10 till 11. A virtual set at the beach house, but not really, everybody. So this is where I have to get my sign out and say it's not really there. It's pretend. We're pretending we're there, but we'll do some clever tricks here. He's hopefully going to get a green or blue screen so we can actually make it look like he's there. We'll get you guys in, and what we need to do is maybe put out a Skype account that anybody who wants to say a few things or maybe should put a request in, they can come online on Skype, have a bit of a chat, and we'll play some tunes like a human jukebox. And if we can't get a DJ, I'll do it myself. I've got a mixer down here. I've got a mixer here. We'll sort something out. But the last thing we're going to do is put a Spotify. So we'll have a go on that. So shall we start that at, if we don't get another DJ, should we start that at 9 o'clock for an hour, then Richard, and then see where it goes for an hour after? Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah, amazing. So we'll just wait to hear from you.
I'll drop you a line.
Yeah.
You get the barbecue, you get the bar stocked up, and if you can work out a way of what time is the sunset there? It's probably about 8, is it, at the moment?
No idea. We're in like crazy, like everyone lockdown. Anything goes now. We make up the days.
It's on my phone.
Hang on, I've got a surfing app here. Let's have a look. I'll find it.
I've got earrings and got dress.
It's got to be 7:30ish. I can check through my photos.
Yeah, we'll Google it.
I'm checking now. Hang on, I'm checking now. I'll know in 30 seconds. Hang on. Widmouth Surf Report. So go away. I've even got a coronavirus warning on the surf thing. Okay, sunset.
Right, and then before you know, it's 8 o'clock at night. And
sunset. No. Check this out. Sunset is 5 to 9.
Oh, is it?
But is it a clear sky? It's looking a bit cloudy, is it, at the moment?
No, it's lovely. And if it's cloudy, it will just add to the epicness of the sunset, hopefully.
You could end up with a very milky pink pearlized one, which is stunning.
So should we come back? Should we come back? If the sunset is 5 to 9, do you think 7:30 is a good time to reconvene? Does that give us half an hour? Do you see the sun for that half hour? I can't remember. You'll see something, won't you?
Yeah.
It goes quick.
We've had stunning sunsets every day, so fingers crossed it will deliver.
It'll be beautiful, whatever.
So if you can work out and get a camera, or even get a phone just like locked off on the sunset.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, even if you've got 2 phones, you see, you can come in on 2 Skype calls, and then we can mix the both in. We can do that. That'd be quite cool.
Okay.
But we'll work all that out later. I'll let you go now. Did you enjoy that little chat? How was that for you?
Oh, lovely.
It was fun.
Really lovely, and lovely to meet Gaz as well.
So you'll go away now and you'll check his work out, and you'll just realise that you've just spoken to an utter legend of West London.
As soon as you said Notting Hill, I was quite embarrassed. I was like, I didn't hear I didn't catch the surname,
don't
and I
worry.
heard Trojan, and I thought, well, I know the Trojan. I've heard of Trojan, but I didn't know the name. So of course, when he came on, I thought, I haven't got a clue it is. He said Notting Hill, and I thought, oh wow, amazing. I know his work. And
So
yeah,
basically,
incredible.
there's a Trojan sound system, which is obviously a dub sound system. He has a band called the Trojans, which is basically Celtic ska, as he describes it.
Oh,
so it's like a 10-piece band, and Gaz has got a big pole with a sheep's skull on the end, and lots of sort of ribbons and bits of feather and stuff. He's got his saxophonist used to play with in the old ska bands, in the old Prince Buster and all that sort of stuff. He's got a Japanese violinist who's a fine artist who just plays violin and does art. It's a sight to behold. And do you know what? If one thing that came out of this, if we could get a little grant or get the funding to get them down there to you, we'd blow the roof off that beach house of yours, I tell you.
So Scar and live 10-piece bands is exactly what we love and the area loves. Yeah.
And I'm going to...
Yeah, we picked you up actually. Mum's just thought Simon Dobson is he's the British Music Composer of the Year. He's a North Cornwall Bay. He's trying to bring the sound of the big band era to the sort of modern ear. And he's an incredible musician, but he was the conductor for Goldie's 65-piece drum and bass orchestra at the Wilderness.
Oh, cool.
And he picked you up with him as well, because he does some amazing stuff, and he is down for the communities. He played as a young person at my dad's festivals, where Mum and Dad, we used to live, Mum and Dad worked for the council. Dad was head of North Cornwall Leisure. So as a child, I lived in a little council bungalow on a park. And Dad ran the centre, and they ran festivals, and that's when I took that over when I was older and worked with Mum and Dad on that. And he was one of the young people that played there, and he's, I don't know, mid-30s now, late 30s, and yeah, incredible human that we need to hook you up with.
That'd be
but
great.
he's also linked in with all the brass band and the underground, all sorts of different musicians.
Do you know Chris Tofu?
Yes, we only came across each other last year, and we wondered how we'd never met. He sounds absolutely wonderful.
He is one of the loveliest people in the world. He's Mr. Vibe Controller. He does Shangri-La Music and Caravans Are Out Camp Festival. He does he does a remix thing. So he basically does a remix thing. So he does remixes and global local things. So he does brass band Kayleys, for example. You know, square dancing with brass bands and stuff like that. It's just amazing. I wonder if he can DJ tonight.
Adds another level to the raw. But no, he's incredible man. But he did say about coming down here at some point to come and play this summer, but obviously not sure if summer's happening or not yet.
Who said that? Chris Tofu?
We're gonna have a struggle, because obviously we don't know if we can open, and if we can open, public spaces will be the last to open, and we bring people together. So obviously we're not sure at the moment. It might be, if they're talking about opening gardens, that could be great for us if the weather holds, because we can certainly make sure people socially distance in our garden, because there's enough space to really spread out here. And if that is the case, then it might be that there's a possibility we could do something, but we're not sure at this stage, and we just want to do what's the right thing for public safety. That's paramount.
Well,
So-
absolutely. And I know
in August, I'll send you some links to Nicholas Aquulu in Peckham, Amina McConnell in North London, and Dilly Mia, who's a Sufi drummer.
Okay.
They're all three interesting people in the arts, music, DJs, radio DJs. They've got a huge network of phenomenal people.
Fantastic.
So I'll you those as well.
Really exciting, yeah.
Yeah,
Really
Dilly
good
Mia, he's been a Sufi drummer for like 20 odd years, and he ran some workshops for me, and they were stunning. He was phenomenal. Apart from the fact a dog went mental and bit somebody.
Okay, guys. So let's knock it on the head now, and reconvene later on.
Police have come to patrol the bay.
Are the police there now? Are they?
Yeah, they've just turned up. It's not normally as busy as it is today. I mean, there's not loads of people, and like Mum said, they're all being very sensible, social distancing, just having a walk. I know the police have driven by, they've gone.
They've got no powers.
And everyone's being sensible here, so that's a relief. No COVID congers here, like trending on Twitter this morning. Holy.
Were there? Oh
Right.
my goodness.
So
Okay.
8:30, we will check on in again.
8:30. We'll be in touch between now and then. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Been-
thank you, Nick, and well
Lovely.
done. It's brilliant what you do, and really good luck with the rest of your UK tour. But we'll talk to you again later.
Nothing without you. See you, Jenny. See you, Beth. See you later.
So much. Take care.
Bye bye. Wow, it looks like there's a blue sky down in Cornwall tonight behind this flag flying on the roof of the Beach House Hotel. So you heard the plan. We're going to go 8:30 till maybe 11, 12. I don't know. See what happens. Oh, Chris Tofu's not answering the phone. It'd be great if we can get him to do a little DJ spot. That'd be a lovely little connection because apparently he's promised he'd do that sometime this summer. And that's not going to happen any other way in a hurry. So that's the end of that. Thank you everybody for your contributions. Sadly, we didn't get Dan back on, but let's have a look at what we've done today. So we had Dan this morning with his lambs, which is lovely. So he's a farmer locally, and he runs a business called Lamb Meets Sea. So we use that as our little strapline there, because this isn't just about seaside holidays. This is about farming, it's about fishing, it's about local communities, and it's about supporting those people. And as I said several times today, you've just heard from Beth, these guys make their money. They don't make money, they pay and break even for 3 months in a peak season. The other 9 months, they have to be creative and do something. They've lost both the 3 months and the 9 months. They've got no income for 15 months. Think about that, no income for 15 months in Cornwall. So when the government does release the sanctions and people are safe to go, we hope that the local communities will welcome them if it's safe to do so. And obviously we'd hope the government wouldn't allow people to go until it is safe to do so. And Beth and her mum there said they're going to follow government advice. But when they go, we hope you'll support them. You won't go into necessarily all the big supermarkets and just buy everything cheap and cheerful from you and get your home order deliveries. We hope you'll support local businesses. People like Dave Sargent, the local chef and cook there, who cooks for local stores, local restaurants and local holiday makers. The farmers, the farm shops. There's a farmers market down once a week down there at Rose's Cafe in Crooklets. There are small community people. There's a local bakers that started now making the most fantastic sourdough breads. You've got pasty makers up on the Kingsmill estate. You've got all sorts of local artisans, makers and business people who need your support. When you go into a pub, if it feels like an independent pub as opposed to a big chain, maybe pay twice for your pint. Just surprise somebody with your kindness. A random act of kindness won't kill anybody. Pasties, pints, surfboards, whatever. Don't go into a supermarket and buy a wetsuit for $4.99. Go to a surf shop. Go to the cabin, the surf cabin there in Bude, or Zuma J. Go to a locally owned independent store. Don't buy stuff just because it's knocked out in China for $4.99. Pay $6.99, $10, $11, $12, whatever. Buy it to support local businesses. People like Roger Tout who are making surfboards against China, who are mass producing. They're copying, they're importing. We need to think local. Forget global, think local. That's the future, and everything's going to have to change as we've seen there. This is not about a mad radical revolution necessarily. It's about thinking differently, about valuing what we've got and supporting our communities. How amazing today to get Gaz Mail, one of the utter legends of Notting Hill, to come down and break that news. Wow, how fantastic is that we are going to be working with Gaz Mail, the Steamco community lock-in, funded by and supported by LGFL and hopefully a few other sponsors to come, have made this possible. We are going to be collaborating with the coolest sound system in the Notting Hill Carnival as far as we're concerned, but obviously every sound system at Notting Hill Carnival has a different flavour and a different vibe. But we're delighted to be pairing up with Gaz's Rocking Blues sound system, usually on All Saints Road. Massive theme, massively inclusive, everybody, race, creed, colour, sex, sexuality, sexual alienation, whatever, everybody coming together on Gaz's Rocking Blues stand. But I'm going to leave just now with a film that you've seen 2 or 3 times today, of a visit to the Bude Carnival last summer. The Bude Carnival last summer, where Stan Smith put a few bits of wood that we gave him on the back of his tractor and proudly became part of that community, celebrating the power of art to connect. Art, creativity, tools, people. Art connects us. Art inspires kids into their learning. It fuels the economy. It powers the economic change that we need to see. It connects communities. And that's what this film is all about. Today has been dedicated to the memory of Margaret. I'm just going to stop that playing. Why is that playing? That's a bit annoying, isn't it? Haha, let's stop that. I was getting a nice little roll then, wasn't I? Let's just stop that. That should stop that. That didn't stop it. Oh, it's here. Okay, let's stop that there. That was playing there. Enjoy yourself. Let's go back to last year. Let's go back to last year when Stan Smith got in the Bude Carnival, put some signage on the back of his truck that had been sponsored by Arts Council with public funding from National Lottery, and joined Bude Carnival and made a very, very inspiring ladies' day, I'm fairly sure. Soundtrack by the mighty Count Skylarking from the Disco Shed, who's going to be DJing for us next Saturday in our pop-up Get Creative at Home Day in Oxford. Check this out.
Tonight me I give you the whole nine, yo. Satisfaction a every girl dream. Me love to put it on, me them wriggle and scream. Me get a call from sexy Maxine. She leave a message from me inside machine. She said, "Ladies, that's your shit." People you know, me and Timberland been hot since 20 years ago. What the dealio? Now what the drillio? If you wanna battle me, then let me know. Got the feeling, son. Let me throw you some. People, here I come. Let's swap me when I'm done. We got the radio shook like we got it done. Lifted me higher than I've ever been lifted before. So keep it up with my desire, and I'll be at your side forevermore.
So here we are at Bude Carnival, and I've just come across an absolute legend here. Only Margaret from the caravan up there at Northport. Margaret, what were you doing? You've got your brass or your gold. What are you up to?
I'm the president of the carnival. I'm very proud. We've just come finished carnival. We have had the best carnival ever. And it's been a brilliant day. And now I'm at the Brenda with this lovely van.
Yeah.
And
I've come all the way from London, and I'm at Notting Hill Carnival next weekend, and we're here at Bude Carnival this weekend. So why don't you come up to Notting Hill Carnival for an ease up with us next week? Do you fancy that, or have you got a tea shop to run?
I think I've got a tea shop to run. I will now.
Go and get yourself a sherry, Margaret. Lovely.
Take care. Bye now.
Wow, utter legend there, Margaret. Margaret's tea shop from Northport Beach. How fantastic, how fantastic. A very happy day, Margaret Frost. Rest in peace, whatever. Your heart, your warmth, your character, your generosity, your connective spirit, it lives on in everybody in Bude, across Cornwall, in Beth and her mum Jenny, I'm sure. As I said there, you know, we've had a fantastic announcement from Gaz there, and what I want to do now is just play that video of Gaz at Portobello last year.
We love everybody out there on the streets. We love to keep it warm, keep it good, and keep it Portobello Radio.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you have, we're going to be live at the Beach House in Widmouth Bay virtually. Do not go down there. Kicking off at 8:30. For now, here's a little film that we made in Yorkshire which sums it up. It could be Yorkshire, it could be Cornwall, it could be Notting Hill, it could be Glastonbury tomorrow.
I have a dream. One day, this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream